Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. More Pains Americans. Do you know what this means? Blood in the streets may remind a few. Money to be made is now and for another few months, lots of few months. And stock trading and hiding profits. Again, this ain't for the faint at heart, but welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, thank you so much for being here. Please share the video because you never know who's out here looking for information and needs help. Speaking of need help, go to findhelp.org. Everybody in the United States, put in your zip code and find out what help there is available for you. This is very, very cool, courtesy of Matthew Lesko, the late night infomercial king that was talking about grants. He came on live almost 2 years ago and gave that nugget. Findhelp.org. And also, if you want to join Lesko, you can go to leskohelp.com, Lesko help, HELP.com. They have a group of thousands of people that help people get grants. By joining the group, do not do monthly. Monthly, he has it set up where I think it's $20 per month. Or you just pay $50 or $60 for the year. Call it a day. But Lesko Help, Leskohelp, and you'll be in the group. They have videos. He creates videos. And the most important, impressive part of all is if you're looking for grants or you're looking for help, you just put it in the chat room. And because they have so many people that have been doing this over the years, they will send you, hey, go check this out in your area. That's not listed under findhelp.org. Just saying, that's where you go. When we have 8 out of 10 Americans living paycheck to paycheck, don't front, don't play with me. Acting all big, bad, and cool, everything's fine. It is not. There's no way you stay away from the numbers. They don't lie. Sure, you might be in the other 2 out of 10, but let's get the numbers right. 8 out of 10 is not a good number. If it was reversed, where 8 out of 10 people were all good and okay, then of course everything would be awesome, right? Now, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. The chat room's open on across all platforms. You don't have to worry. And guess what else? Our chat rooms are open to everybody. You can make comments about anything. We can talk about anything. We love to go back and forth and have conversations as adults. And sometimes we have to go there with children like things being an adult, but it's okay. We're here for it. I'm here for it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and other special live streams during Saturday or Sunday could happen. But nonetheless, thank you again, everybody, for being here. And once again, findhelp.org. Go there if you need help. Thank you also if you've become a new member. Thank you so much becoming a new member of the channel. I appreciate it. Now, let's see if there's anyone in the house tonight. There is an investor, real estate, stock market, and on the SSN Nation plan, well before it was the SSN Nation plan, 3 years ago. Well, 2 years and around 3 months ago, we started talking about a countdown for when you had to have certain things in order. He's one of them. He already fulfilled all of them probably because the requirements were offshore bank account outside the United States interference, real estate or a business outside of the United States jurisdictions, and a 775 credit score. Why? We'll go over that shortly. But let's welcome Mr. Worldwide 2. He's here. And he brings his tagline, and welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And the tagline reads, hello all, let's do this. And by doing this, make sure you have your pen, pad, and papers ready, because you never know what's going to be talked about here. Because we have a lot of people that are investors that in a lot of different things. And we have people that are very knowledgeable, and admittedly, I don't know everything. And the constant struggle to learn even more should be on everybody's agenda. So let's get into it. And once again, post-retirement travel, congratulations on your journey for that second property in the DR. I find it very, very fascinating. I haven't done anything on that section yet, Capcana, but I'm very happy for you, the fam, and you know how I feel. Upscale luxury locations. Can't go wrong. What can I say? That's just how it is. It's reality. All right. Post retirement travel says blood in the stock market. That's exactly right. More paying Americans for those that had the 401ks. Those of you who are locked in and don't decide to make your own trades. You know, you're just shipping your money to your 401k. And while there's blood in the streets, you could have been buying some of these stocks at lower prices. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what your fund manager is doing. And except they get a fee. But how about not paying your fund manager a fee over years? So let me give you guys the idea here so you understand what I'm saying. But let's go on with the stay in, backing up the truck daily, be the shark. Exactly. Don't be the little fish. Exactly. Like they always said. No, they didn't. I said, whatever the rich guys are doing, that's what you should be doing. That's what I always used to tell everybody. I said, why are you going against what the rich guys are doing with business, with real estate, with investing? Why would you decide, oh, I don't need any of that? That makes zero sense. But I used to tell people that all the time. And I used to tell people other things, being a Black American. I'll just tell you guys, because I said it earlier, this is Financial Friday night, which is story night. I told people earlier before this week, I think it was on Monday, I said blatantly, I used to tell people when I was 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, and I'd say, you see all those businesses that those rich white dudes have? Notice what businesses they do. They're selling yachts, they're selling planes, they're selling cars, travel agencies, like I told you guys on Monday. For starters, they're in real estate, they're investing in the stock market. I said, explain to me why you wouldn't be doing something, if not all of those things. That means you need to be in those things. As it turns out, that's how it works. Very simple platform, very easy. Anybody can do it. There's no barriers to entry. So get started if you haven't already. It's time to back up the truck before it's too late. Don't worry. Let me get you a little rest. If you still haven't downloaded Robinhood, Webull, or have a brokerage account, let's get you some free shares of stock first of all, okay? Download any one of these or all three, but I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're in for the free stocks or something, only Robinhood will give you free stocks, all right? They give you a free one stock. That's usually their promotion. Webull and Moomoo, that's another story. They're going to make you invest. So let's just call it $100 or more. All right. But on both platforms, you're going to have to hold for 1 or 2 months. You cannot withdraw less than what you put in, $100. Then they give you more. They might give you 3. It depends on the promotion. 3 free shares of stock, 5, or even 10, or even 15 half shares or something. Webull has crazy promotions all the time. So use the link in the chat room and make yourself happy and get a brokerage account, at least that way. Now, there's something else that's going to happen tonight. It's Friday night. There's going to be some stock trading talk. Post retirement travel, he does the wheel for trading, which is options. And I still don't know what the wheel is. I have not studied, but I must say, thank you so much, Post Retirement Travel, for having the icon next to your name, which I humbly appreciate. So, once again, thank you for being in the house. Now, some people would say, hey, Eric, why don't you just tell us what's going on? Well, here's the thing, you got to do your own investment strategy. So he does the wheel strategy with stock options. I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't do that. Some people just buy stocks. Some people just send their money to a hedge fund, mutual fund, or ETF and let somebody else handle their money. They send, whatever. It doesn't matter. $100 a week, whatever it is, 500 a week, who knows? But the point is, somebody else is managing it. You just go on about your daily life. But here's the difference. They have your money. That's the thing. They're using your money along with hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of other people's. And together they have multiple millions or billions of dollars under management. And then they're picking and choosing what to do. Like today, the market went down. They have people in house that are trading on your money. The stock market goes down. Like this week, the stock market goes down. They're making money while it goes down. But here's the difference. If you have a 401k, it's set based on, let's just call it the stock market. Stock market goes down, your 401k goes down. You don't get to partake in this trading part where you could win on the way down, make money on the way down, and make money on the day up, on the way up. So today it was going down, it went up, it went back down. But the point is, they made money all those times. So that is the difference, because you're giving your money to someone else. They could be doing exactly what I'm telling you, but then your 401k or the numbers they're giving you is based on the index because you said, well, let me have this ETF index. Okay, fine. So you're down today. You're down. I don't even know, this week you might be down. So you're down. But they're over there like, okay, fine. The overall stock is down, but we were doing some backdoor trading because we're controlling your money. So we got to give it back to you. So what? Your portfolio's down, but the profit we made, we're good. We made profit either way. So we're happy, and we get a 1% fee a year. So now they get the 1% fee a year, let's say. Just start thinking about 10 years. That's 10% on compounding, because it depends on if the market went up or down. They're still getting 1%. So that's 10% shaved off. Let's say you do your 20 years 401k stuff. That's 20% shaved off. At the end of your 20 years of service, 25 years, let's say, and you sit there and say, well, I have $600,000. Imagine if you would have had nearly 800 because 20% was shaved off. All right. Hopefully I get you guys in the game. All right. Now, the other factors, we're going to get into a few things, but since we have several people watching on different platforms, I have to make sure everybody gets some things in order. Now, here's the other thing, because today we're talking about more paying Americans. Pain is coming in so many different ways. The CPI, consumer inflation numbers, are not real. The PPI, which the Federal Reserve use, that's a little more realistic, but not even real either. The numbers are always higher. So when they say wholesale orders are 0.8%, okay, 0.8% is wholesale. Traditionally in wholesale, just so you guys understand, at the store, if something cost $100, the traditional way of selling was, that means they purchased it for 50. All right. So that's generally what store rules are. That's why they can easily go out of business in a downturn because they're holding inventory, not being able to sell it, and it sits. And that's where the problem comes in because the money's already expended most of the time. So if it's zero point 0.8 for wholesale, that means it's 1.6 minimum. All right. In reality, just so you understand. Now you have to believe that the number is true, which I do not. Do not be foolish, ladies and gentlemen. The number is worse. And the reason why you can't be foolish is you would go, Eric, 0.8% no big deal. You would go also 3.6 inflation. You might say, no big deal. Let me ask you something. If it was no big deal, why do you think the stock market goes down? You're going up 3.6, no big deal. I can pay 3.6. That's nothing major. I $100, it's only 103.60 now. I can deal with that. Well, see, here's what happens. The guys that have millions of dollars, they're not dealing with that because all of a sudden that could be 300,000. That could be 3 million. That could be 30 million to a corporation of L's. So, see, they don't take it very lightly. They have to make adjustments. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, you need to make sure you're paying attention out here. It's real in the field. All right. Now, after we got that all on the order, now stock market trading. Let's just I'll just start it off. Post retirement travel here, Mr. Worldwide Two's here. I'll start it off just SPYQQQ. Okay? Because he's gonna say those. He's also gonna say SCHD. He's gonna say that too. So just go study, check those out. Those are index funds. Just go check them out. Schwab index fund. Now, let's get to the favorites that I have. VOO, Vanguard Group. VOOG. We want some tech. VGT. VTI. Yeah, I know I'm all over Vanguards, right? But nonetheless, those are set it and forget it. Let them manage it. Let them do whatever they do. Take the 0.75 or whatever they're charging these days. It doesn't matter. It's worth it. It just keeps rising. You can just go do your own research. But that's their job. Just like it's the Federal Reserve job to make sure the stock market continues to go up. And it's the job of the indexes to take out the losers and put the winners in so the index keeps rising. Oh, you thought they kept the same companies in the indexes? Oh, no, ladies and gentlemen. In case you don't know, they make sure they can win. So it's simply a numbers game such as this. You have I can't even have an analogy for it, but I'll try. Let's go with baseball. 3 out of 10 times you hit the ball, you're a damn all-star. Yeah, 3 out of 10 times. So if you know that 3 out of 10 times, and let's just say half of the time you're going against, I'll call it the number one pitcher on the pitching staff, 5 out of 10 times. And the other 5 out of 10 times, you're going against the third or fourth pitcher on the pitching staff. That's why you do a 300. But if all of a sudden you say, well, you know that third or fourth pitcher on the pitching staff, we're just going to grab another number one. So now there's 6 out of 10. We're going to grab another number one. We're going to take the other one off. That's now 7 out of 10. Your batting average, I guarantee you, will not be 300 no more. Because instead of those 5 lame guys that everybody can hit, all of a sudden you're facing another 2 that nobody can hit. So your average is going down. So when somebody says this guy's not the same in the World Series when his regular season, I'm like, you're damn right. But that's just an example. What I'm trying to say is when you take out the losers and put some winners in, which is what the indexes do, that means you've increased the value of the winners. So that means you can increase the upward trend, which is what it's continuing to happen. So that's why you have to be in it. And that's what we've been talking about for all these years. 6 years. That's right. So if you've just now found us, just make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, slap it, give it a one piece. I'd greatly appreciate it. And everything else, make sure you hit those links. And by the way, before I forget, I want you guys to get Unstoppable Domains. Not because of, I just realized Unstoppable Domains changed their website. We're talking about Web3. Click on that radio dial for Web3. Why Web3? It's very simple. Uh-oh. Web3 means .nft. ssnnation.nft. Stop struggling now. .crypto. ssnlifestyle.crypto. What does that mean? Some of you don't know. I'm putting a link in the chat room so that way you guys can get that link and use it, please. And what does that do? That means you're in the crypto game with your own way for somebody to send you crypto. If I tell you, hey, if you want to make donations, you can send to stopstrugglingnow.crypto. That's very easy versus some numbers, alphanumeric characters, right? But there's more to this because you don't know where crypto is going to go 5 years, 3 years, 10 years. Sooner or later, there's going to be a switch of some sort that all of a sudden, instead of this going down like it has when the stock market goes down, somebody's going to use it for something else that's much more valuable potentially. But in the meantime, you don't have to pay more than once. So wouldn't it make sense? Hedge your bet, $20, $15, $10, whatever it is, .crypto, .nft, .x, whatever, XYZ, .polygon, whatever they got. They got tons. But do the Web3. We're not talking about .com, .net, .org, and all that BS. We're talking about crypto, one-time payment, no annual fee. You mint it on the blockchain. Nobody can take it from you. That's the key. You control entirely, but also you stay slightly hidden. When if you're messing around with crypto and somebody's sending you crypto, you can easily just say, send it to me on stopstrugglingnow.crypto. Doesn't matter what it is, the top 400 crypto, no problem. So only you know I use stopstrugglingnow.crypto. Only you know when you look up your transaction hash that you sent money, you can find the transaction hash. I know I can see the transaction hash, but you know who else can't? Because they're not involved in the transaction. Just saying. Okay? Just saying. It's going to be a transaction hash, yes. But again, I want to minimize what our government in America or any government can actually check out. And yes, the government can find out. But that means they also have to check out the person that sent it and the person that sent it is probably going to be on a regulated stock exchange or a regulated central exchange system most of the time. So that means you've already uploaded your ID, your information, your name, your address, your phone number, 4 digits of your social. So they already know who it is. But I don't want to make it easy for them because you never know what's going to happen out here. We know we're in a broke country, though. So just keep that in mind. All right. Anybody have anything to say? Let me know because we're going to be moving on because I did talk about hiding the profits, right? I did talk about stock trading as a necessary evil. And while we're in 25 minutes in, I got to give you guys the Candlestick Bible, the Candlestick Trading Bible, PDF. Go get it at stopstrugglingnow.com. If you're listening to this, stopstrugglingnow.com. Go there at the top. There's a text link. Click on it. It'll open up the PDF, download it, make sure you have it, share it with your friends. Better yet, if you have children, share it with them. The stock market's not going away. Stock market's on every continent in the world. So even if you say, hey, I can't trade on the US stock market, well, maybe you can trade on the Australian stock market. You can't trade on that one. Maybe you can trade on the Asian stock market. Don't like that one, Hong Kong or anything? Okay, fine. You might say, well, let me get in the EU stock market. Maybe I'll do the London stock market or maybe the Spain, whatever. The point I'm trying to make is you can make money from all of them. And when you understand the signals and you understand how to mark up your charts, easier for you to be successful, now all of a sudden you can make money anytime you want. To get very good at it, you're going to have to learn, you're going to have to study. And what's wrong with that? If you want to be the best, you got to study. You got to know your craft. There's no time in the history of man where somebody's able to wake up being a baby to a kid to an adult without having to study to be successful. You have to study to be successful at no matter what you do. You just don't wake up. I shouldn't say 99.9% of people don't wake up and have natural gifts. You don't know anything until you study. You have to go search. You have to learn. That's what you should be doing. And that's why I say give it to your children. That would help them out greatly. All right, let's go. What's next? You guys know. Speaking of, I just have to say what hide profits. Um, I like that. It's not so much I care about it, but all I'm trying to say is, uh, what is this? Oh, the Gold Rush trading bot. No, I don't want that. Um, yeah, we don't want that because this volatility is good when it goes down. Let me do something. CoinX. There's several. There's only one broker I know of, only because this is what I started with. But the CoinX broker is outside of the United States. They use crypto to upload to the USDT, the Litecoin, USDC, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, and something else. I can't remember, probably Tron or something, TRX or something. But the point is, I'm putting it in the chat room all the way around. This is a referral link. If you have it, then you can refer other people. It does use simple MT4, MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5 platforms. So, hey, it is what it is. But the point is, they're not inside the United States. They use crypto. And when they download, the beauty of it is when you send money out, they have different wallets that they use to send. So the point I'm trying to make is it's outside the US, not a central exchange, not regulated with the United States, and you send it to them. So therefore, it goes outside of the US jurisdiction, obviously, when you download out. So I can use Coinbase. Coinbase obviously has a record of where I sent it to, but there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, I sent it to CoinX. So I sent it over to CoinX. My trading that I do on their platform, I get profits. Then on CoinX, they're sending out from their, even if they use a central exchange, it would not matter. They're sending out on their crypto to my crypto destination, which is outside the United States. Again, it's not coming back to Coinbase for the central exchange. So therefore, an example, $500, you have profits of 500, let's say, and then you send that down and they use a different crypto address and it's a different number. I just use 500, 500, but it could be 500 up, 300 down, but the 300 down, they don't know who it came from. Or all they know is CoinX sent this to this wallet, but they have no access to that. You see where I'm going with this, right? Just saying. And that's why we always have to have contingency plans. Some people would say, well, then how do we do this? Well, you have a broker or a place outside the US that you need to send it down to. That's it. It's very simple. Now, this brings up the other factor, some people would say. And that factor is if I can send it to this card right here, outside the United States, and then it has a MasterCard logo, and it works as an ATM card and it works for transactions, that may be a viable plan. So, with that said, obviously, that has to be the next point of interest, right? As far as I'm concerned, I'm leading you down this path, as I said, for the last 3 months or 2 months. Um, 2.5, yeah, 2.5 months, because I ordered December 14th, the card. So I'll put this in the chat room. Now, this card is not activated yet, just so you guys know. So I want you guys just to use the link, get the app in order, because it used to be Visa. They switched on the MasterCard network. So therefore, they have to transfer all their cards over, do all kind of crazy stuff for the new cards versus and the old cards and all this. So the point is, do not order the card just yet, but please use the link to download the app. And yes, there's referral codes. That's why I use it. And there's also referral monies when people buy the card and they upload it. It's 1% that they give to people, right? So also there's calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Today's Friday. So next call is going to be on Tuesday. But hey, check the post from some of our platforms, social media platforms. Make sure you check those posts, because on the weekends they have trainings where they actually talk about how you can make additional streams of revenue from it as well. But the main thing is the card is in from a company in Mexico City, okay, and outside the U.S. jurisdiction. Now, some people has asked, well, I don't think that's going to be too cool. I'm like, okay, well, like I said, not everybody in America has had their money safe in American financial institutions' hands. I'm one of those people. It's not safe in America to me. It's like a third world country. So, again, I have no problem with outside the US because other people outside the US are using them. But the other thing about Bankers is even more important. If you have family members that you send money to outside the country, guess what? All they need is to also download the Bankers app. They have a digital card as well, but that's not the thing. The thing is, I can send any Bankers member money and it's 100%. If I sent you $500, you receive $500. There's no fee for internal monies. There's no Zelle. There's none of that. There's no interference. You just say, I'm sending it, and the person can be anywhere in the world. It goes to their Bankers account, and now you can use it on the card. Those are the flexibility things that you need out here. You don't need this stuff, where your bank calls you or blocks you because it's like, oh, you're in some place. Oh, I'll give you a perfect example. You're in Malta. We don't allow transactions in Malta no more. It's like, wait, it's my money, man. What do you mean? Why are you restricting me from using my money on my card? Oh, well, they're scammer capital of the world. We're not going to allow it anymore in Malta or something. That's a real thing that used to happen, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So people don't know this stuff, right? Because most Americans stay in the country. They don't leave. But when you leave, you start finding out all kind of restrictions. That's one of them. So if you're in a restricted country, your stuff is turned off by the United States government. And they tell Visa and MasterCard to turn off the signal because every company has codes or country has codes. People don't realize this. So they can turn off your stuff. Simple. Okay. So anyhow, down below in the description box, chat boxes, that's there. So you guys have that now to help you. And I do have to say, I do talk a little bit of smack. Yeah, that now you're hiding profits. But I'm not saying don't report them on your tax returns. Just saying. All right? Just saying. Pay your taxes. Whether it's realized by the government or not, you got to pay your taxes. Just like if you own property outside the United States, but you are a citizen of the United States, or you can be the citizen of any country, whatever profits, you're supposed to report those profits. Okay? Just saying. All right? We're not trying to dodge any tax obligations. Okay. Now, hopefully that gets you guys started on the right path, because otherwise, letting all of this bad stuff happen, more pain, but not getting anything from it except additional bills, that's very, very bad. And that's what's happening to all of us. The bills are getting higher and higher and higher. Have any of you gotten your energy bills this past month or two? Just, it's like, wait, what's happening here? Things are getting out of control. You gotten your renewals on your insurance policies? They're just acting like everybody has extra money sitting around. It's crazy. So you got to be in the stock market game, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind. There's money to be made, but you got to learn. It's not, like I said, it's not for the faint at heart. All right. Eric, I think this situation going on in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico is helping our bookings domestically. You're right. All of us. Oh, you're right, man. We haven't talked about this. All of a sudden, yes, boom, boom, boom. There's more domestic stuff popping up. And you're exactly right, man. I agree. That's what's been happening. I have seen a significant bump. Spring break for Punta Cana can also see a huge jump. Yeah, I don't really know, because remember, that situation means people that come from or through the Mexican ports and things like that, that could stop, just like what happened in America with ICE. And now flights from Canada, for instance, bypass USA, for instance, right? So we're going to have it's going to be very, very interesting when the numbers come out. Like, again, we're not going to be able to really know because it happened, what, a week ago. So we're not going to really know. And there's only 28 months or 28 days in this month. So we're not going to find the impact unless this lingers on for another 30 days where there's mayhem going on. Then we'll know the impact to DR. Because remember, it's a Latin country, so people aren't going to be coming from South America potentially, or Mexico for sure, potentially, right? So it'll be very, very interesting, but it could divert others that would have went to Mexico, go to DR. But again, I just don't know how that's going to play out, because Europeans already come in low numbers to DR. The numbers started picking up through South America, and I don't know how many direct flights they have from South America to DR. And that's where the problem kind of comes in. So we'll find out. But yeah, the other thing is, those, remember, during this time of year, a lot of Americans go to Mexico. Now there's a diversion over to DR from the Americans, which will happen. But again, what's the offset of losing customers from the southern hemisphere? That's the question, right? So, and there's a ton of people that go to Mexico during January, February, March. And all of a sudden, if those people got their flights canceled, they go, well, we can go. But again, you have so many choices. We'll find out the impact, I'm sure. I expect the first month of January, the numbers were reinstated to a higher number. I think it was 1.155. I think that's what it was. 1.55 million. So 1,500,000 some odd 50 some odd thousand, right? And it got revised up. I think it was 1.2 something. So that means 70,000 extra for the month of January by total numbers. By air, it, I think, was 8.7%. So, and I know for a fact, because I just read it recently, because somebody started saying that the numbers went up when we were in our chat rooms. And I said, okay, man, listen, 1 point, what did it go up to? 1 point. Oh, sorry. Uh, I'm giving you overall totals. I forgot what the actual number was. 800 and I think it was around 875, if I'm not mistaken. 875,000, I think it was, somewhere near that. Um, so the previous year was so it's 850. I think it was actually 875, 850, somewhere in there. I think it's closer to 850 because previous year was 785. So 8% of that is 50 some thousand. So yeah, it's got to be somewhere like this. Um, but again, that's only, let's just say it's a 60,000. I'll round up. Let's just say it's 60,000 additional by air than last year. Okay. So if they maintain that 60,000, which they're not going to be able to every month of the year, but let's just say they did, that would add 60, that adds 720,000 people by air. So if we do that number, the 720,000 by air means 8.9 this last year by air. And that would bring it up to uh, uh, 9.6 million by air. That would be a significant number. All right. The only problem with that is we need it to be at 10.5 to 11 mil for this year. Last year we needed 9.5 to 10. Now we need 10.5 to 11. So we're far behind, but that would at least catch us up because we've only been doing 300 to 400,000 a year, which makes you get further behind because they keep building on the island. So you need more tourists. This is one way that more tourists are going to come. There's a bunch of people that's going to be diverted over the next month. This is prime time. All those college trips done. They're saying DR, Bahamas, Jamaica, Hawaii. Well, probably not Hawaii so much, but still, even in Southern California, in Florida, they're like, forget leaving the country. So all these colleges have diverted their spring breaks to different parts of America and the Caribbean. They're not going to be flying to Europe. They're not going to be going to South Africa or Africa. They're not going to be going, down to Argentina, El Salvador. Come on, that's never the thing. So they're probably going to go in the Caribbean, and they're probably going to go to the southern states. And if they feel that it's safe in like Baja or which you might be safe in Los Cabos, but if you're thinking you're going to be safe on the other side, I don't see how. Puerto Vallarta, I don't see how you're going to be safe even over in Cancun, Cozumel these days. It's getting pretty bad, but we'll find out. We'll know in the next. Actually, we're going to know in 45 days. All right, but very good points. It's happening. You are exactly right. More people trying to do things in America, which is a good thing. So everybody that's doing short-term rentals and have places in, like he has places in, his is in Florida, Orlando. So if you have things like spring training right now in Scottsdale, Arizona, you're going to win. If you have other locations like in Orlando or warm locations, SoCal on the coast, you're going to do very good about now, at least for the next 45 days. You should have increased bookings if you were slowed down. So that's a good thing. All right, let's keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen, because obviously we have people that we need to get in touch with and make sure, again, if you like what we're talking about, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on Monday as well at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, there's one other thing I got to talk about here is because the monetization that they have here is different than they used to have. And I'm finding out when I go back in, these guys are, I don't know if I'm monetized, but sometimes on these live streams, they could actually be bringing up ads every like 3 minutes. That's no good. So I hope that's not happening. So let me know if that's happening, because if it is, then I need to turn this off. All right. Entirely while we're doing live streams. Only during live streams are there zero. Um, oh, that's cool. There's zero ads. Yeah, see, that can't do it. Okay, I just found something, by the way, SSN Life. So that's cool. I found another video. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's cool. We're going to check it out. That is really cool. All right, now, so we got to the main things, right? We got to the ETFs, SPY, QQQ. In case you want to invest in stocks, just go by index. One other thing, check the chat. you'll see there's something called Wealthfront in there. Another set it and forget it. You let them handle it. Anything you have in there, if you have $4,990 or less, they actually manage for free at Wealthfront. So look up in the chat. In fact, just in case you just now joined us, I'll repost it. You'll see Robinhood, Webull, Moo, but you do Wealthfront is also along that. That's the four. I'll just put Wealthfront by itself. That's another way you can set it and forget it. The other thing, you guys are business people. Um, you get your own business solo 401k. What's the problem? All right. You have to be in the stock market. And this isn't like 1980s, 1970s, 1960s. This is so volatile, is the whole thing. It's always been slightly volatile, but not like how it's been the last 20 years, where there's manipulation obviously going on as well. So just make sure you understand what is at stake here. If you don't figure out a way to make additional streams of revenue, then it's lights out, it's game over. All right. And we have 9 months left, by the way, coming up December 31st. 2026 is our assassination sands of the hourglass time is up. But that does not mean it's up. That just means that was the timeline so you can get things in order. I give you a head start. It means you're in position for anything that comes along in 2027. And things are going to happen in 2027 as I anticipate. We'll see how that all unfolds. Maybe I'll be here, maybe I won't. But if I am, we'll just be talking about it. And no matter what happens, there's always a way. Just keep that in mind. You have to always be prepared for the different nuances that's going to occur. You're going to be ahead. So you're going to have to figure out, how am I going to get my energy reduced? You're going to have to start figuring out, either I got to make more money or not. Stock trading, you're able to make more money on your own terms, your own time as well, because since it runs even right now on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, depending on where you're at, stock markets are open. Pre-markets are open. Some markets are open and it's the day over in the Asian markets. It's already started. All right. As it gets later in the evening, all of a sudden, the European market's open. Just think about all this. All right. So there's different ways that you can do things. The futures markets are open if you want to trade futures. You have your opportunity. But if you learn the first part first, then it's a lot easier to learn the second. You get to stack your knowledge. And that's something you should consider greatly, because it's going to be very, very hard out here. And especially if you box yourself in and you don't get your credit in order. All right. That's the number one thing. In fact, let me give you a smart credit link. All right. Just so you can get your credit in order. Smart credit. Smart credit is a credit monitoring system. And generally, if you use our link, sometimes they have specials where you just pay $1 for like 4 months. So you can actually understand what's going on and they can actually help you. And you'll see they have the hiring index score. They have your FICO 8 in case you want to get a liability, such as a vehicle, financed. They have, like I said, all your credit scores. They have your insurance scores. And they have letters already in the system that you can send to your creditors to try to get things done, such as seeing if they can take give you a higher level of credit, see if something that happened bad before can be changed somehow. There are already preformed letters back there. Also, there's something that's more valuable than even that is they tell you what day of the month to make your payment that helps improve your credit score. Think about it. That's pretty valuable information as well. So there's several things that they do. So go and the identity fraud, everybody in your household that has the same address on their credit report that you have, they also will qualify at no extra charge. for the identity fraud. Okay. So those type of things help you out greatly as you go through life. So it's always good to have them. So that works out great. And in the chat room, you guys will see it. There it is. And down below in the description box, all of it's there. So you guys can enjoy that link, make use of it, and hopefully that helps you out. Now, I also should give people just not for trading purposes, but for credit purposes. We should talk about a little bit more because I'm gonna put in. I usually have smart credit on there, and I usually have something else. Um, but this time it's just the national credit direct in case somebody needs to improve their credit. Let me put that on. I guess I better get that also because I just don't want you guys just to have that by itself. Let me see if I have it somewhere. I should. What's happening? There we go. Yeah, just in case they can help anybody with that to get a installment account to help them get on time payments, do things of this nature. So that'll come in handy for a few people. So make sure you do that. Let's see, what else do we need? I think that about covers it. But what I wanted to get into stock market trading. This is not for trading. This is for you want dividends. So I don't know what they are at today's prices, but I'm just going to go with ORC stock. Okay, these are real estate investment trusts because it went down slightly to $7.44. They are at 19.35% dividend. Real estate investment trust, Orchard Island Capital. Go study what they do. If it fits your investment strategy, they're in real estate investment trust. The feds are going to reduce the interest rate. Well, now that the PPI went up to 3.6, yikes. Uh, that means inflation. That means they have to bring it down, which would normally mean increasing the interest rate. Unfortunately, Jerome Powell's influence is over, and they're going to appoint a new person to the board as chairman, which the chairman doesn't just get to pick, they have voting. But that's one vote for reducing the rate. There's another four already. So now that means they had five last time. So that means they could get a 6-6. Then somebody might flip. Because we're going to have 6-6 for sure. Because one of the Fed chairman or board members is resigning, and not the female. It's a male. He's resigning. So that leaves open a seat that Trump can appoint another person, which now means they're going to have the two more votes to get this rate reduced, even with inflation going higher. This is a disaster, ladies and gentlemen. And that also means you should be in the trading because that means the stock market is going to be very volatile. If they have inflation and reduce the rate, it's going according to the plan. But you're going to be able to make a lot of money by stock market trading because of that. So just keep all those things in mind. But ORC, that's a real estate investment trust. See if that meets your strategy because 19.3 cents, 19.36% is a lot. Tamara Larry, another investors in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And by the way, tell the fellas, I hope they're still doing great. I know they are. Make sure they get their investments on. I know they're doing it. They got a good head on their shoulders. So very happy to see you once again. Her tagline, hello all. Thank you so much for being in the house. Once again, appreciate your support. So, ORC, go check it out. See if that meets your criteria, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to keep going down the line because you're not going to believe this. I'm just going to say this one, but this is nothing that I've ever been in. But I do have to mention Earn. All right. Yeah, I have to say it. It's a credit company, and I just gotta say it. 19.63% for earn as well. It's an Ellington credit. So again, remember, credit is very, very hard out here. And a lot of people are gonna default and do whatever. So you better go study earn and see if that's gonna be, you're gonna take the risk. But again, just go check them out because I find it fascinating that they're at 19%. Also for dividends. I don't know how long they're going to pay them, but I'm just saying. All right. Now, let's get back to the other ones. That's just something I threw in, not because I'm involved, but ARR is at 16%. That's Armor Residential Real Estate Investment Trust. All right. 16.04. I'm looking at these exactly right now. Normally, I just run off the top of my head and be like, it's 16 to 17 or 19, 18. Now I'm looking at the actual number. There's a company called Dynex that has been talked about before. Again, you got to make sure this meets your criteria, 14.54%. Okay. There's something I haven't talked about in a while. Let me go look and see what they're at. CIM, Chimera Investment Corp, they're at 11.46. But hey, we can do better than this because we're going to talk about AG&C, which should be 13, 14. Let me see where they're at right now. They're at 12.85%. But if you just want to go with safety, JP Morgan, the largest bank in the United States, you can just do JEPQ and get around 10.5 to 11%. I'm ballparking, or way lower, but hey, still JP Morgan, JEPI, which should get you around 7.3 to 7.7%. So those are on the table for you where you can look at, study. There's something else. Let me go look at NLY. Let me see where they're at. I haven't even looked at them. I'm just guessing that they're like 13, 14. Let's go see where they're at. NLY. That's not NLY, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go look at NLY. Where are we at on NLY? They are at 12.05%. But again, that's Annaly Capital Management. Make sure this fits it because the real estate game, by rights, should have had a meltdown already. It has not. Well, kind of, but it should have had a meltdown. That's all I'm saying. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why it hasn't happened, but it should have happened because they're artificially keeping it afloat. So just be very careful on some of these. Like this is capital, so you better understand what you would be investing in. 12%, but again, I just had to bring those out just so you guys would know about them. P is in Paul, S is in Sam, E is in Eric, C is in Charles, and PSEC is what is known. That's also capital. Make sure you guys go study that as well. And again, Candlestick Bible, check. Trading Bible, check. You get that at stopstrugglingnow.com. Um, I'm doing some things while we're here in the background. Also, um, I can't even believe this. This is so disgusting. I got to talk about it. Crypto. How is it that crypto's going down just like the stock market? That would indicate that somebody big time is into the stock market. That means the ETFs, the guys that have the money that's invested in the stock market also means that they put money into the crypto market. If both are going down at the same time, that is not good. That means I thought it was supposed to be a separate, let's call it, it's not really money, but it was separate. So therefore, why would it go down when the stock market goes down? It's back down to 63, 62, 63,000, 63, 64,000, whatever it is, 63.5. Who knows? But that's crazy when you really think about it. Is it not? Is it not? What do you guys think? Isn't that kind of wild? They were supposed to be independent. We don't like that, right? We don't like any of that. On the other platforms, you guys should be getting all of this information that I've been posting. Hopefully you are paying attention. All right. Need you guys to have that. Get in on all of this. And the reason I mention this is I can't even, it was whatever the 22nd is. What day is the 22nd? 22nd was a Sunday. On Sunday, Central Exchange, I sent $100. I bought $110 worth of crypto, USDT. So they took 1.1%. So I have 108 point, as it turns out, 108.92, 92 cents. That's the fee they took, Coinbase, for me to buy this $110 worth. So it's 108.92. So now I've been sitting here this whole time going to something that a lot of people think may be a Ponzi scheme, which it possibly can be. Prime Wealth Advisors, because they're given 8% per week, which obviously is crazy because that's 32. If there's a 4-week month, that's 32% a month. A lot of people would say, well, that's not possible to earn 32% per month. And I would have to agree. So if you're going to do anything involved with this, I'm going to give you the link in the chat room, but I agree that it could be a Ponzi scheme. But in today's environment, there's so many different ways that people can make money that I still am like, yeah, it's probably a Ponzi. But people have been doing this for now 7, 8 months, no problems thus far. But it could be because you bring in additional people. But I'm still going to put in my $108.92. But unfortunately, it's not going to be that either, because the time I send the USDT to Prime Wealth Advisors, it'll be on the USDT network, which is a good thing. So that's fine. So whatever it is, whether it's $1, so I'll have 107 or 10, I think it should be 107 roughly. So I'll have 107 earning 8%. And the thing I'm bitching about is the Central Exchange has held it, saying we're waiting on the deposit to clear. And we're in America. This is so hilarious. So they haven't released it yet. 5 days. It's 27, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. Today's the 27th. But I did do it in the evening time, but let's just call it 6 days. Because it's later on tonight, it's going to be released, which is crazy. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I guess I don't know, it's either 5 or 6, however you want to count it. But that's absurd. But this is what they do in America. They can hem you up anytime. I call this hemming up. It should have only been 2 or 3 days, max. But anyhow, as long as it doesn't really matter, it's a testing situation. So then I'm going to show you guys actually how to do it. I should take a video about it and show you guys. That's what I think I'm going to do. Because later tonight after this live stream, that it should be released. If I recall, it was 22:52. So that's 10. So Eastern time, it's going to be released like 1 a.m., 1:22 a.m., I believe it is, right? Yeah, that's right. 01:22 for all the military guys, right? That's when it's going to be released. So now I'll be able to send it over tonight, since crypto's open 24 hours. But I'm about to find out, are they open on Saturday? That's going to be the interesting thing. And I'm going to make a video, because if this works out, Seamless Genius, Biznessa, has been doing this for 7 to 8 months now, because it was 6 months, like 3 weeks ago, I believe it was 6 or 7. I can't really remember what she said, but she was on the live stream 2 Fridays ago. So if you find that live stream from 2 Fridays ago, she was on screen showing her wins of 8% per week. So there you go. What was the transfer fee again? Um, no, I didn't transfer yet. If we're talking about Prime Wealth Advisors, they use USDT, they use Tron, Ethereum, Bitcoin. I think there was five things. I'm missing something. Oh man, I took it off. I had it on screen too. I was gonna not really show you guys. Let me see if I have it somewhere. Um, where's my? Ah, well, I'll log in again. But yeah, it's USDT, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Tron. I think it was. So I don't know what the fee's going to be. Coinbase took 1.1%. So my $110 that I uploaded, my balance is $108.92 because I looked at it today thinking it was cleared, and I was actually going to show you guys what I did on the live stream, but now I can't. I can't. I can't. But I could do this because there's nothing in my. Oh yeah, there's nothing in my back. Oh, let me see. Let me make sure. There's nothing that could hurt me by showing you. So let me see. I'll log in and then I can just go to it. So because this is what she did. Yeah, because my account's blank. There's nothing on here. It just shows my name. There's nothing else identifying, but there's no fee. So when I use the USDT network to load up, I think it's going to take $1, another or $1.50. So therefore, uh, that means that I should have 107.40, and then it's going to be earning 8% every week. And since it'll be a Saturday, I guess, then that means every Saturday I'm going to get that 8%. Now, if that happens next Saturday, let's say I get 8%. That means I'm going to get $8 and whatever, $8.50. I like USFT. Hopefully you mean DT. But how do you get USDT? No, you no, it's on coin. You can get US. It's USD as in David T, not FT at all. I don't even know what USFT is. But all I'm saying is they don't accept USFT. They only accept USDT, Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, and I think it's Tron. But that's why I'm about to show you guys in the back office. Um, with Coinbase or Coinbase. The KuCoin also does USDT. Everybody does well, I think everybody does USDT now. It's a stable coin. So, um, and the fee is only like $1 something. Yeah, yeah, typo. I meant USDT. You're out. That's what I thought because I never heard of USFT. But check this out. So let me see. Did it get over there yet? Yeah. Okay. So I just logged in. So I'll show you guys. I don't have any monies. And next week, well, actually, it won't be next Friday. So next Monday, hopefully, after I do this, um, it's going to be here. Let me get this on screen. Hold on a second. Here it is. Let's pop this up. Let's get it on camera, shall we? What are you guys waiting for? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What's happening? Let's go. Here you go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Plain and simple. All right. Let me do something else. I'm going to put a link down in the chat rooms for Prime Wealth Advisors. Just a second. This is a link as well. They have referral links. So everybody just go sign up. Whether you put money up or not, it does not matter. All right. Then share your link because they do give you commissions. Again, I don't know what it is. Okay. Again, I'm not in the, I don't know what it is. I'm so Prime Wealth Advisors. Okay. So I'm going to put a link in the chat room. There'll be a link in the description box after this live stream. You guys have it here. So please use the link. We were on the live stream, and the person that came in on the live stream and talked. Yeah, I'm gonna start opening up the live stream where people can actually talk. Not you won't be on the screen. I'm just gonna use it as you can use the link. You can come in and you can make conversation. I think I'm gonna do that starting maybe next month. So we'll see. Next month is only in a couple days, right? Monday, maybe I'll try it. But the point I'm trying to make is it's in the chat room, no matter where you're watching from, in the description box, no matter where you're watching from, it's there. Use the link. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, along with the bank, it's fine. Um, but either way, and I'm going to do something else while I'm thinking about it. I'm sitting here doing this. And 8% per week goes into another account. All right. You guys see it on the screen, right? Yeah, you see it. Okay. This is what happened when I first opened it up and I saw this scrolling across the top. I was like, wait a minute. I saw S&P 500 first, and I'm like, wait a minute. Is this a trading app, or are they trading or something? Because that's what this would indicate to me. But as far as I know, you can't trade back here. But then again, I've never really been back here because I just wanted to get to 8%. So here's what happens. I'm on the main screen when you log in called the dashboard. And when we did it 2 Fridays ago, I didn't realize I was clicking deposits over here. But look, deposit is right here on the front screen. So I didn't have to do that. But look at this. They have this. So I'm like, why do they have trading here? Which I don't know, but I have suspicions on why it's here. But it does not matter at this point. Here's deposit. So it's very simple. So you hit this, and then it's going to tell me crypto plans. So I click on the crypto plans. And after I do that, we get to this. Here it is. I don't know why they have this, but let's just say infinite wealth. And then it says 8% weekly for 1 year. Minimum deposit 100, maximum deposit unlimited. Now, again, only risk what you want to lose. But again, so in my case, whatever it is, they say put in the number. So we'll go 108.92, right? That's what I would be doing. So it just fills this in. It's nothing major. Then here it is, USDT on the TRC Tron network, which is even cheaper. That's on the Ethereum network, but it's still, I think, only going to be dollar 30, $1.50 or something. But Ethereum and Bitcoin, obviously, in my mind, it's going to be more than $1.50. So either way, by the time it hits, it's going to be 107, whatever in my eyes. But we're going to find out. So then you're going to hit to oh, well, I better click on this, right? So I'm going to hit proceed, right? Oh, I can't put, I have to put a number in. So it's going to be 108. All right. So now we know it has to be a solid number. So here, proceed with payment. And then here's what happens. This generates the address you're supposed to send it to. All right. It's that simple. All right. Then you hit submit payment, which I'm not going to do right now. And I think once this is an older form, which means that they're probably going to be doing this. Obviously has to be manual, right? So you're going to hit submit payment, and see this right here, the transaction hash. That is when I'm going to go over to my Coinbase, send it over using this USDT address, the alphanumeric character address, and then I'm going to get the transaction hash, and I'm going to come back before I hit submit payment and put it in. And then after I hit that, probably something's going to come up. Thank you. And we'll get in touch with you or whatever. Because I know this cannot be automatic. It has to be somebody manually putting it in. And we're going to find out if they're working on Saturday or not. Okay. So that's it. It's that simple. Now, other things. Let's see. Oh, affiliate, right? Oh, well, I shouldn't show that. Yes. See, somebody's already put their name in. I thank you, all right, for using the link. So doesn't mean you had to order or do anything, but I say just get it in. We'll be talking about this because I will be giving you a weekly update because every week that goes by means that there's money to be made, and it goes into a separate account. So when they give the, let's just round down, the $8 is what it should be, right? Next Saturday, if everything goes well, if Coinbase releases it like they said they would later tonight, then it'll be Saturday because they're in the EU. And so that means every Saturday. So every Monday, I should have an update if they do Monday to Monday or Saturday to Saturday or Sunday to Sunday or Monday, whatever. Every Monday, I'll say, hey, here's another eight. You guys can see it. And the 8% does not go on top. So, in other words, if I have 108 in there, it does not give me 116 that they're going to do the 8%. I apparently, from Vanessa Comegate, Seamless Genius, says I have to go in. They put it in a separate account in your back office here. And so when they do that, you have to transfer your interest back into the account. So like right here, I guess would be where it says interest. I've never even looked back here, but it doesn't go anywhere. But my interest, I'm assuming, would show up. Oh, here we go. Your daily earnings are accumulated here. You can keep track of your earnings and rewards. Rewards must be if you refer other people. And so then after it shows back here, she says you have to transfer it into your account. So yes, you can actually get your compound, but you have to do it manually. So if you're every Saturday and they send the eight, then I'm going to go back in and add the eight. So then it'll be 116. So then next month it'll be $9 and some odd. I mean, next week it'll be $9 and something. So that's how you got to do it. All right. Hopefully that gets everybody up to speed on how it's done. Very simple. So use the link, please. It's down below in the chat rooms. All right. He says, how much are you starting with? What is your strategy? Deposit and withdraw in a few weeks just to test, or deposit and forget it? Deposit and you can't forget it. I mean, you could, but um, you could, but the problem is you won't be able to compound. So every week you got to go and add it into your main. If you want to keep the same amount, then you got to go in and take your interest and add it to your account every week. And that is according to Seamless Genius, because otherwise I was just going to set it and forget it and let it compound every week. But you have to manually do it, which it is what it is. I think there's probably laws against it rolling over. But nonetheless, there it is. There's the link. Just go over there. So I'm just doing 108. Well, I don't know what it's going to be, but it'll be 107, I'm predicting, or 108, somewhere in that ballpark. If they cover the fee, then it's 108. If they don't, and the network takes the fee, whatever it's going to be, if it's $1, $1.40, $1.50, then I'll have 106 in the account if they round up or down. So it all depends. But we're going to find out. Like I said, hopefully I'll find out tomorrow. Because tonight I'm going to send it over. So that's another test for me. I want to find out if they work on the weekends, what's happening, how they're going to do this, if it's going to start every Saturday, is the 8% interest paid, or is maybe it's Monday, or because they're in the U, maybe it's Sunday. I'm going to find out. So it's a good thing it's happening over the weekend. If it was happening on the Friday or the week, then it's supposed to be whatever day you upload, that's when they pay out. So there's the link, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Please use it. And it is very wise also that if you compound, I can't remember it now, but if you compound, it's going to take you, I believe it was 2.5 months. But I haven't ran the numbers yet. And since we're live, okay, let's go. Just ask Google. If you deposit $100 and earn 8% a week and compound it every week, how many weeks to get your money back? Let's see. I don't even have to do it myself. I was going to do it manually, but I don't. I can just ask. 10 weeks. So it is 2.5 months. There you go. All right. So that's it. 10 weeks to get your or double your money, which means you get your money back. So 10 weeks is 2.5 months. So I don't mind starting with that low value 100 just to test, but then that's 2.5 months that it could have been a higher amount, right? So the question is, like some people may say, if you are having extra money and you feel comfortable, and I never feel comfortable with seemingly Ponzi type stuff because it is awfully high. I have speculation that I'm going to check out a few things and see if what I think it is and how they're doing this is possible because there's so many things that you can well, there's only a few things in my mind because they're showing the trading thing. There's a few things that automatically triggered some things in my head. I was sitting there like, okay, what are these guys out here doing? How can they do this? There is one way that's very, very prevalent these days when people want to do stock market trading. There's so many different ways that people um, are making money from it by teaching other people, by doing prop firms. And there could be tie-ins in my mind right now, but I can't say for sure. So I'm going to try and search and find out how they're able to give this high rate of return if it makes sense. Otherwise, it's a risk, high reward type of thing. And we don't know how long that's going to last. Let's just call it what it is. But 2.5 months, let's see what happens. For $100, for $500, for $300, whatever you can afford to put down, so be it. But hundreds a minimum. So I recommend USDT for sure. And if you're doing it on the Tron network, then it's going to be real cheap. It'll be cheaper than on the Ethereum network. And again, I don't even know if they cover the fee or not. So we'll find out. And they do have refer others. So use your link if you decide that this is going to work for you long term. A lot of people, we have people here that obviously say this can't work. This can't happen in long term because otherwise hedge funds and all these guys would be in it. Well, again, it's also systematic in the way you think. If I'm a hedge fund, if I'm an ETF, and somebody says, hey man, you can earn 8% per week. If I'm a hedge fund, these guys, I don't know what they make per week. So if they're making 20 to 30% per week on your money, they're not going to put that in somebody else's hands and say, well, I want 8% a week, or if they're even earning 10% a week, which is a possibility. Because remember, they have millions of dollars. They can make moves that ordinary citizens cannot. So when the market goes down today and they have their traders on board and they're saying, hey, man, we know it's going down, these guys could have made a 50 to 1. Like, in other words, 5 times their money today. So they're not going to put their money in something that's like 8% for the week. They're already like, man, we already blew past 8%. We don't care about that in one day. So they're not going to do any park their money in one location. Just like this is the same thing that I have a problem with. And it's not really a problem for anybody. You can buy treasuries if you want at 4% or 4.3%, but it's along those same lines. If you're going to put your money into a treasury or bond and it says, oh, we're going to give you 4%, and you're sitting over here where your bank goes, well, we'll give you 6. Why would you buy a treasury or a bond? That makes zero sense. You would just go, okay, I'll just put it in my bank at 6%, right? Same kind of thing. It doesn't matter if my bank pays me more money and I feel more comfortable with giving my money in a bank and leaving it there and making an extra percentage. I'm not going to care what the rich guys do or anybody else. And that's where the thing, just like right now, when we start talking about those real estate investment trusts at 19%, and we know the feds or the government wants the rate to go down, those guys get to borrow at the Fed rate. They're not borrowing at our mortgage rates that we pay. They're getting Fed rate numbers. So if they can get that down to 3.75 or 3.5, all of a sudden they start doing all kind of creative financing. They get their debt reduced And now they get new debt that they can get at 3.75 or 3.5% if this goes how I think it's going to go. So that's a boom. So why am I not going to go with the companies that are earning 15, 16, 17, 18%? And I'm sitting there going, well, give it to 4. Why? Well, that would be silly, right? That's crazy. So if these guys are doing 8, I don't know how they're doing it. I mean, like I said, I have an idea how they're doing it, but I'll leave that for another day when I can confirm. All right. Okay, let's go. I'm going to take this off right now. Here we go. Post-retirement travel. There was a company in the United Kingdom that went under a few years ago. It was a Ponzi scheme. To maintain 8% per week, they have to be lending money at a higher rate. That's one way. Post-retirement travel. Since I've been out here paying attention to this trading things, and because my friends they use, I'll just tell you some of my theories. One of them is, the prop firms, the ones where people have to pay like $100, let's say, or $50, and then you have to pass the challenge. You realize people don't pass the challenge, right? That's the first thing. So there's money. They're making all this money from people that can't pass the challenge. And so then they re-up, right? And every time people have 20, 30, 40 accounts. So they're paying, let's say it's $100. I'm just using that number because sometimes it's around 100, sometimes it's 150. But imagine you have thousands of 1,000 people over a week. I won't say a day, but over a week that paid $100 to $150. Because remember, or most people who are not familiar with prop firms, they have accounts that start at 25,000, 50,000, 75, 100, 200, 300, 400,000. So, and it costs more to buy into the higher amounts. So I'm just using like a 25, 50,000. It could be $100. You fail. And the object of the game is you're using other people's money. That's the whole point, right? So now you say, well, I got to give another 100. Okay, this one you win, but remember the company keeps the 100 and the 200, right? So we're going to find out. I don't really know. I'm going to try and see if I can get to the bottom of what they're doing, see if it makes sense. Because it only makes sense to me when the stock market charts came up. I was sitting there like, why would they have stock market charts? Ah, okay. Then I went over and I checked out prop firms and how much they make. And I was like, damn, that is genius. So now let's say it cost, let's just say 100 and I passed, right? So they got to keep the 100 for nothing, right? Because they're trading with play money. And so you have to pass the challenge. So it doesn't cost them anything. So it's, of course, it costs for, hosting or whatever, maybe. But the point I'm trying to make is 100. But you got a few hundred people that even signed up today, right? Because they run ads or whatever. So now you're playing with their money, right? 25 grand, let's say. But here's the thing. If you are profitable, they have rules in place. Let's say I got 5 grand right now. They have rules in place that you have to be profitable for X amount of days before you can withdraw. Let's just call it a half of it. So if you had 50 grand account and your first day you got it up to 55,000, you can't withdraw it. Your profits, right? So they have these rules where one I saw where they had three, you had to have 3 sessions before you can withdraw. And then it's every three, it's weird, right? They got all these rules. So now let's say the next day, and by the way, they have a drawdown. You can only go within like, let's say $2,500. Once you hit $2,500, you blow the account, meaning the account's over because it's real money. You lost 2,500 out of the 50 grand. Account's over. Now, guess what? You're probably a lot of people are saying, well, let me get another account and I'll try again because it's other people's money. So it's another $100. So now all of a sudden you have this whole ecosystem. But here, check this out. They have it where the drawdown's 2,500. You won 5 grand. So now you have a $55,000 in this account. You can't withdraw the winnings. The next day, let's just say you did $500, called it a day, whatever. Next day, now keep this in mind. The next day you got 500, so now you're up to 5,600. But guess what? That 2,500 drawdown. If you go from 5,600, 56,000, and it drops down to what would that be? 54, 53.5. Even though you're profitable, it blows the account. Congratulations, you just gave them 3 G's. I'm just saying, and you couldn't have withdrawn. This is what's going down. So that's why I'm suspecting that they're using it for trading purposes and they might be a prop firm scenario. I'm going to find out though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got some new people in the house. Zach Zabak the Midget, welcome once again to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. We're talking about more paying Americans because the PPI report came out. Inflation is raging. 3.6% is nothing to sneeze at. And the feds, they're not coming to the rescue, I don't think, unless you get those 2 board of directors on to the Federal Reserve Board and they flip the 7-5 for against decreasing to 7-5 to decrease the federal funds rate. And oh my, stock market will be right. It's got to be right. Yeah, it does have to be right, man. That's why we got to study, make sure it fits for you. G Cart, thank you so much. Don't even do this to me. I appreciate the comment. Hi, handsome. Thank you. Another investor's in the house. Nice to see you once again. Thank you so much for your support. Make sure everybody you smash that like button. Give it a hard smash and let people know. All right, The Wire is in the house again. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. We in here, ladies and gentlemen, caught alive, exactly. And make sure you click the all notification bell, even though that may not help. Don't feel bad. Once again, there's no love from certain channels around here. Just saying. From the platforms, I mean. So thank you guys. I'm very, very happy you saw us tonight because once again, we've been talking about this stock market trading, which I know you guys do. And you got to be in the game to win it. In it to win it is the most well-versed saying ever when it comes to making money. If you sit on the sidelines and watch the parade go by, that's fine. You can do that. A lot of people feel comfortable sitting on the sidelines doing their 9 to 5 and calling it a day. But there's other people that says, I want something more. So I need my own business. I want to do my own thing. I want my own freedom, my own way. And that's why stock market trading gets you there. Also, why I used to play professional poker was because it had freedom. Right? You can show up and do what you want, when you want, play when you want. If I want to play late night, I can go to a casino or go to some card rooms and play late night. If there's a tournament that's happening in the middle of the afternoon, I can go play at Thunder Valley in Sacramento at the World Poker Tour. Right? Okay, just saying. Or I want to play cash games. Well, if you're around a card room, cash games, we're going to go play cash games. It could be 3 a.m. If they got players, we're playing. If it's 12 noon, we playing. You got players, we playing. Don't have to know the people either. So we're here. Obviously, if you're in Vegas, they got card rooms, so there's probably people there as we speak right now. Oftentimes, definitely, it's Friday night. People just got paid. They're coming down to test their luck against some professional players. Not advised. I'm just saying, not advised. But there's people that like to test their skills. And a professional player, I'm going to tell you right now, just like a professional stock trader, is probably more prolific than me or a person that started only in a few months. So again, that's why you have to study, ladies and gentlemen. Same rules apply. If you want to learn how to play poker, for instance, you don't just show up at the poker table and say, well, let's see how it goes. You better understand hands. You better understand position. You might better understand money management. Same thing that you do in stock market trading. Those three things I just said applies in poker, applies in stock trading. Money management is key. Education and knowledge is key. And based on your position, and that goes by position is a little slightly different because based on your position is how much you can risk. Difference between stock and being I'm going to be after a person looks at their hand. If you're after the person that looks at their hand, that gives you an advantage. So the further you are after the action, the better you get decisions, the better decisions you can make. And that also allows you to apply pressure in poker, right? Because I might as well just talk about it. It's Financial Friday night. We got story nights. So I'll give you something that happened in no, it wasn't Aruba. It was, Dominican Republic at the Hard Rock Casino for the Latin poker tour, I believe it was. LAPT, I think it was. But anyhow, so I'll give you a perfect example. And by the way, I might as well name drop. It's not really major, but let me see. Doyle Brunson, who's known for poker, he's an older guy, well-known poker player, and him and his whole family was at this event. So his daughter Pam is at the table. She plays like tight, so to speak. She's not going to get in and mix it up, do anything crazy. So that already eliminates one person on the table that I don't have to worry about. And there's 9 people on the table. So you have to read people, right? If you know their style of play, that helps you out greatly. So I don't know anybody else at the table. They're just all new people that we don't know. So I mix it up pretty much. I was aggressive back then, very always. Back then, people were more like old school, not really aggressive. Some were, some weren't, kind of thing. So in this particular day, I'm just rolling over the table. I'm being in position. People are throwing in just whatever the minimum bet was, or maybe they raised. I'm sitting in the 7th seater thereabouts. That means the 7th player, and it's just rotating around, but I'm acting after everybody else. So what I'm doing is I just re-raise. It doesn't even matter what cards I had. I re-raised, people would fold. So I take all the chips, don't even have anything going. So there's a 2 guys that I notice. They're not entering into pots at all. So obviously they're already branded as very tight. They're only going to play if they have extremely great 2 cards. We're playing Texas Hold'em. So now all of a sudden everybody folds to this guy and he's 2 seats over from me. All of a sudden he enters from a raise and I'm like, oh, he's probably got a hand. But I said, let's find out how good this hand is. So he raised, I re-raised. The other person folds, he calls. I'm like, obviously that's a sign, right? Well, some people don't think it is, but for a professional poker player, I'm like, oh, he didn't fold. He's tight. That means AA, KK for sure. For sure. So now what happens, because I'm already have a whole stack of chips, so I'm actually splashing stuff around. So now the next card comes off. You know what he does? Just as expected, because I'm aggressive, right? He knows since I'm after him, what have I been doing this whole time? If you're not going to bet, I'm throwing chips in because I thinking he's going to fold, right? So I say, okay, he checks on cue, no problem. But now I'm like, I know if I put money in here, he's going to call this. So I didn't put any crazy amount in. I just put enough in where it would be a little bit like, okay, I raised. So I just put the same amount that I put in before. He calls. I look at him and I said, yep, did exactly what I thought. And in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm shut down. I ain't putting no more money in this. So I already know he's not gonna throw any chips in, right? He knows I've been aggressive. So the last card comes off the river. Sure enough, he checks. I'm like, of course he does. I'm like, I'm beat. And I know for a fact if I try to bluff or do anything, I know he's got an A. At the point I eliminated KK and I didn't improve my hand. I didn't have better than a. So I just checked and I started laughing because he has to turn over his cards first. I said, hey man, just turn over your aces. He starts laughing like, how'd you know? I said, because it was I played, so I already know I shouldn't even have bluffed you on the first time. But I was like, I had to see because I have enough chips. And Pam's over there laughing like, man, you're aggressive. I was waiting for you to throw some more chips out. I said, hell no, I already knew he was gonna have the AA. It was in stone after what he did after my next splash. So that's the type of things that you need to know when you are playing the stock game. You got to have some ideas on what you're trying to do and how far you can go, right? So yeah, I lost some chips, but I still had more chips than everybody else, which was the funniest part. But I could have had more, but I gave away chips basically. I shouldn't have because I knew what he had. I knew he had a strong hand from the get. I shouldn't even tried to play with them. I would have had those that arsenal of chips that I gave away, a few thousand, quite frankly, that I shouldn't have gave away early. I could have used those later if I was going to play around with somebody. So that's the type of thing. That's why I like stock trading as a potential for me because it's kind of along the same line, except there's a problem. I don't get to dictate and make moves based on that because and also I don't know. I can tell by candles because I've studied, like I said, I'm only at month 5. I can tell by candles. I can use a 200 moving average, day moving average. I can use the trend lines and all that, which makes it a lot easier. And I can throw in, like, I throw in some, the new one that I use now. What do they call it? It's the sideways. So I have a line. I wish I can remember what they call that thing. Well, it doesn't matter, but it tells you the volume, right? Sideways. So I have the volume and where the main volume lines are. That helps out greatly for me. It's something that you don't have when you play poker, but the more information you can get yourself to understand, the more and better you're going to be able to trade, in my opinion. And that works the same way with poker. Once you understand the odds, of a person after you see cards come down, what you should be betting based on the odds. Are you going to go against your odds and percentage that you should be putting in? That's all something somebody can decide. Those decisions turn into wins and losses. If you want to go outside the box, go outside the box. You can be a Tom Dwan and just throw money everywhere and lose, look good on TV, but ultimately you're not going to be a winning player. You're going to be borrowing money from people and paying people back and doing all this crazy. Chino Ream, I'm giving names, yeah. These guys are going to be like, man, stop talking about me like this. You could be like Chino Ream, win a tournament, win a World Series of Poker tournament for 1.5, 2 mil, and then owe people like 1.5. Yeah, you could do that. But again, that's not how you can should be doing your stock trading. You should be having money management. Only lose like, let's call it 1% or whatever you feel comfortable. 5%, let's say. Right? So that's how you got to do your money management. Same thing. So just keep that in mind. All right. Let's see where we're going with this. We got a lot of people in the house. Let's see. Mystery Life, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Financial Friday night live stream. Somebody got to explain why I ain't got ish. Mystery Life. I can explain it, but I need to know where you're from. Caught alive. Mystery Life. Here's why. And basically, this is what people don't understand, right? My dad, for instance, he's still alive. And most parents are going to say the same thing. They're going to be like, I don't understand. You make more money than I ever have made. Why are you acting like it costs a lot out here? I'm like, because When I'm growing up, you could buy a $15,000 house. That 15, 20, $25,000 house is now worth 1 million. That's why. What do you mean? That $40,000 house is worth 300. That's why. So I have to make 10 times more than you annually to pay for the same thing. That's why. Like, but they don't understand because they're in a different system. He's in the system of retired military officer and then had another job and they're in the pension system. So now they get pensions based on the 1990s, 1980s, and all this type of stuff where they're fully vested and get thousands of dollars plus an increase every year. They don't create pension plans like that anymore. So they're in a whole different system. He's happy. Increases every year for both. Great. You're lucky if you get an increase every year in pay for them, but now you're getting an increase every year. Can you work somewhere for 25 to 30 years? And is your inflation 1.5 to 2% every year until it's not in the 1970s or something? But again, homes only go up 1, 2, 3%. Not anymore. They go up more than that annually. Do you get a raise of 3% or up to 5% every year? No, hardly not. Whole different system because now our empire in America is going down. So more pain for Americans. So that's why, Mystery Life. That's why. So, Mystery Life, let's talk about something else that you're going to have to reduce because everybody's into the debt game. And I didn't even say anything about this tonight thus far, but everybody that's been here before, you guys know we need our debt cleared, right? So, what do? You hit up Tracy, you email Tracy, TRACY.sharpe with an E at the end at moneyladder.com. You send her an email and say, I'm with the SSN Nation. Eric told me to tell you, you're fam. You're going to take care of me. She's going to go, yeah, we're fam. I'm going to take care of you. I love doing this. So hit her up and she'll get your debt reduced. And the object of the game is getting your debt reduced, paying it still, but freeing up some extra money, not to get more debt, but that's where money can come from to invest. And start with a cup of coffee every week, but over time is what you need to do. It'll take time, but you have to get started. This is not America 1950, 60, 70, 80. That's over. 90, that's over. You got AI slashing people jobs. And it's continuing to happen and it's going to continue to happen for all of 2027. And it's already started for 2026. So this low-hanging fruit stuff, it's that stuff is that where they say we need this information and calculate this and do that. Just what I just did right now with how long does it take for 10 weeks just off of Google to at 8% to double my money. And I just put it in and it gave me the answer. There's no more people doing any type of information. Everything is an algorithm. If somebody says, like the insurance companies, they're using algorithms to pay out claims. Sure, they have a few people in the office going, well, this doesn't want to pay out, look it over, okay. But there are these algorithms. They're using computer algorithms. Quantum physics is here. AI is here. They don't need you to correlate, get any information from anywhere. They can just grab it. Or shall I say, artificial intelligence, or just grab it. It's worldwide information. So again, that's the reason. So you hit up Tracy. And by the way, once you get that handled, it's going to take 1 year to 2 years generally. There's an email also that I put, the YouTube video when she came out. Johnny B, I see you, man. Thank you so much for being in the house, um, on another platform. But once again, 1 to 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, you're going to be in good standing. No debt collection notices, no bankruptcy needed to be filed. You'll be in good standing, so it'll pop it up. So you're going to have to go through 1 year, 2 years of pain. But so what? At the other side of this, you freed up some money that you can actually use to get a return on, and then start thinking about using some of that money to pay off your debt or bills too. So that's why we talk about stock market, real estate investing, getting your dividends. So if you want to do dividends right, you want to get 10%, then go with JP Morgan, JEPQ. 10% return on your money every month. You want to do better than that, then look at real estate investment trust. Is my gift, so to speak, because anytime they're going to reduce interest rates, I like real estate investment trust. That means the Federal Reserve, anytime they're going to do it, because those guys will be able to refinance their loans. That means they free up extra money to keep paying those high dividends at 17%, 16%, 19%, like ARR, ORC, AGNC, PSEC, NLY at 12, AGNC at, what were they, at 13 or 12.85, I think it was. So again, you have opportunities where that money can come in every month partially. So 1%, 1.5% a month, reinvest it, which gives you more, a little bit of some more shares, and then that gives you more. So again, there's a plan, at least, right? That's a plan. Let me know what you think. That's one plan. That's one little plan I hope that you might utilize. So hopefully that helps out. All right. Mystery life. And there may be other people that have plans too. All right. Lost, Beal, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. You have EOD drawdown, which is better than trailing drawdown. True, 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 true. And again, different brokers, different prop firms have different rules. And that's why there's so many different prop firms, which quite frankly is crazy to me. But yeah, I don't do prop firms. I'm not that good. I don't like how they have so many rules for withdrawals, but it is based on them. In fact, you know what I'm going to do right now? Let me do this. How much do prop firms make a year? I'm gonna do something because this is so funny. Okay, this says prop firm traders can earn between 24,000 over 300,000 plus annually. That's not what I'm talking about right now. It didn't come out. Oh, prop firm companies. That's what I left out. No, it should have just did it. Okay, it didn't. Maybe I have to specify. Let me specify, because I did see something. I don't know when it came up, where it came up, but it's like I saw some numbers and I was like, this, if this is true, I need to get one of these. But obviously I'm using other people's money. But I'm like, hold on. Okay, here we go. Prop firm companies operate within a $12 billion industry. Okay, we know that. Okay. Apex have distributed over 598 million in payouts since 2022. Are we talking about $600 million in payouts? Wow. Oh, by the way, they're mentioning something I forgot about: one time or recurring evaluation fees. I forgot about that. So let's say that 100 example I was using earlier, it could be 100 per month instead of other firms that say, okay, once you pass the evaluation, we don't charge you a monthly fee, but they might charge another fee. Okay, profit splits, by the way. Oh, that's right. I forgot about this too. Firms typically retain 10% to 50% of profits generated by funded traders. I forgot about that. That's right. So even if you do win on a lot of them, you giving up 10% of the wins they keep, which is interesting too. Ongoing monthly fees for trading access. Again, that's part of their, yeah, they have that. platform fees, data fees, and account resets. Wow. Yeah, see, they can make so much money off of what people are doing, and it's ongoing. So whether you fail at your eval or win at your eval, they still win because they still make money. There's one that my friends told me that they don't have these fees, but I don't know about all the fees because I've never done prop trading. But anyhow, they're not telling me. They're just saying they are within a 12 billion industry. But again, they're talking about Apex gave out 598 million in payouts, which is they're at about 150 million dollars in profits they've given out. So you guys can already do simple numbers. If you start thinking Apex does 10%, I don't know what they do. But if they did, that means, doesn't that mean like $60 million? Yeah, that if they were doing 10% and they did $600 million payouts, that means that should be 660, right? Yeah, that means they got 60 million. That's crazy. Awesome. Crazy awesome. That's distributions. That doesn't even talk about their eval fees and the other fees that they may charge and all the fails. That's pretty awesome, quite frankly. I got to get one of these prop firms, ladies and gentlemen. This is sick. All right, Las Real Bill. Maybe help me out here and everybody else. When you say EOD drawdown, which is better than trailing drawdown, let me know what that actually means. Because again, I'm not in prop firms, so I don't talk in those terms, but I know what it means for drawdowns. I didn't know there was a difference. The power of the dollar. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. And he says Lucid has end of the day drawdown and no activation fee. You're giving the wrong info, but no, I'm not referring to Lucid. See, that's just it. There's so many different prop firms. I was just saying one of the prop firms operate such as this. It wasn't any particular prop firm. It was just different rules that prop firms have. They don't all have the same rules. So Lucid may have a Lucid fine, but not everybody operates like Lucid, and not everybody operates like Apex, and not everybody operates as whatever traders. They're all different. So that's the thing. You have to go look. Angels nut. No more prison. Bill Clinton just cleared Trump on Epstein. Democrats are mad today. Nah, he didn't clear nobody, man. Nah, he didn't clear nobody. How you gonna? I'll get to this in a second. I really have a question about liquidity. The speed on getting a deposit back into your bank will be impacted by liquidity. Without some kind of services, I'm not sure how they can generate 8%. Oh, no, they have to have it tied to. Okay, that's exactly the thing. It's either a Ponzi scheme or they actually have a legitimate business that makes a lot of money. And like I said, my guess was when I saw the charts, I was like, wait, are these guys running a prop firm? I said, because that would make perfectly good sense. Because otherwise it doesn't make any. Well, I mean, that's one way I know there's a lot of money generated from so many different sources that um you can do it that way. And I'm going to get back to Angels Nut also. All right, because I'm gonna show, because what he's referring to is Lucid may do it one way. I'm going to show. Let's go to Apex, for instance, and we'll see what they do. All right, but there, I'm pretty sure that's why when they showed the trading, I was like, wait, maybe these guys are doing a prop firm, because that means they can get money every day. So your let's just use a number. Let's say you did 25 grand. Your 25 grand is at risk. Basically, they say, okay, pay us for whatever, for the eval or whatever. Then it depends on their rules. Are they taking 10%? Are they not? Are they taking 20%? Are they not? Are they making you trade 3, 4 times? What's their rules before you can withdraw? Is there a drawdown amounts? Are they moving it up like somebody, some of these prop firms do? So it all depends. So first off, let me do something real quick. Let me do some numbers. You know what? This isn't the time for that. But I was just going to do something. I was like, how do I get 25 grand if I gave them 25 grand times 8%? That's $2,000. That's a week. So if I gave them 25 grand, that'd be $2,000 per week for them. If I gave a prop firm 25,000, they're going to have an account. Some people buy multiple accounts, but let's say it costs $100. So they're only now they're 1,900. I guess there's a number way you can do it, but I don't fully understand how they operate. All I know is they're going to give somebody their 25. Then the person is going to give 10, 20, 30, 40%, whatever it is, profit share. So they could have a drawdown of how much would it be? 1,500 or something. So somebody could lose down to 23.5 maybe. Yeah. So they're at risk. So I mean, there's one way it could work out. I just don't know all the numbers, but we're about to get into it now that we're in it. Now that we're in it. Lara Becca, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Thank you so much for being in the house. Hey, everyone is the tagline. Very simple, very nice to see you once again. Shayala, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Wednesday Night Live Stream as well. All right, you are to find it times. Thank you so much. I'm very happy you found me tonight because tonight is going to be an interesting conversation. We're 2 hours and 2 minutes in because we have some traders in the house. They're here. And now there's a lot of people who haven't traded or are starting or thinking about trading, and they don't know anything about prop firms, just like me, right? I haven't studied them a lot. Apex did come up, and I started looking at their rule. I was like, holy smokes, are you kidding me right now? People are successful. Crazy. New sub from John Key. Thank you so much and welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. And oh, by the way, you know what? It's Friday night. I forgot. I have an SSN lifestyle. We have to show some videos. I forget. I got to throw these. Come on, come on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. Speaking of poker, that's right. Some of you don't know. Professional poker player. I used to play a lifetime ago. Let's just call it that. All right. But not that far. But once again, yes, 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 yes. That was some celebrity stuff, some Playboy Mansion stuff. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, fine. Hughes at the house. Yes, yes, yes. All of that. Okay. The microphone at the end. That's David Singer, World Poker Tour winner. I think once at least, maybe twice. He was there. He turned in the Card Player magazine reporter. That was the final table. I busted out at the final table, and I'll never forget. I never forget. It's a charity event and all that, but I never forget because I'm at the final table. I move all in. I have ace eight, I believe. I'm thinking nobody's gonna call me. I'm like, because I'm late in the hand. I'm like, nobody's gonna call me. There's like, although there's like three or four players after me, but still, we're at the final table. There's some serious stuff to win. So I'm thinking nobody's gonna call me. I got one of the aces. Okay, we good. So all of a sudden, this one guy looks at his cards, looks again, looks again. I'm like, wait, he didn't fold already? What's happening? He calls. I'm like, oh, damn. Does he have like ace 10, ace jack, ace queen, ace king? What? Or even worse, ace ace or something. I'm like, wait, he could have Jack Jack, maybe? Okay, no. He turns over Ace Deuce. If you guys know anything about poker, Ace 8 versus Ace Deuce, off suits. We both have off suits. I'm thinking, why did he call me? But okay, fine. I'm thinking, okay, I'm pretty good shape. Oh no, wrong. No, he has more chips than me. I bust out at the final table. He gets a 2. I'm like, oh man, I'm out. So David Singer comes up. Hey man, what's happening? How you doing? What's up? Man, you almost made it. I'm like, dude, stop. No, we had a nice convo. All right. So anyhow, thank you so much for the new sub, John Key 6115. Greatly appreciate you doing that. No donating to gossip enters. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. You came up on my Facebook feed. Oh, thank you so much for that. We've been on Facebook for years, but hardly anybody ever shows up. Hey, thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate it, man. Are they loosening the reins a little bit? Oh my, this is going to be very interesting. Oh my, don't tell me Facebook's allowing me some play. Don't even, they've already restricted me all the time, just like YouTube. All right, Cole Medina's in the house. That funky Cole Medina. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And he says a 40% dump on the stock market. People not ready. That's right, Cole Medina. People aren't ready because they're not stock trading. They could have had a huge advantage. That's why we're here talking about it right now. More pain for Americans, and especially if you have no skill set that can go through the hard times. So, for instance, speaking of that, this is different than the dumping on the stock market of 40%. But the point is, or not 40%, but we know. But anyhow, something that's never always going to be in vogue. Simple. Learn, rehab, meaning being able to fix up portions of a house, whether it's foundations, whether it's roof, whether it's windows, whether it's the side outside of the home, whether it's painting, whether it's redoing the brickwork. That will never go out of style because you have millions and millions of homes. AC, heating and AC. Remember, heating and AC units last on average somewhere between 10 to 15 years, except for the ones that people are going to spend 15 grand for. They're going to last longer. Okay, just saying. The Lennoxes of the world, right? That's going to last longer. That might get you 20 years. Okay, just saying. But anything other than that, 10 to 15 on average, all right? Refrigeration, freezers, refrigerators, same rules. 15 years is about your cutoff times. Roofing, 20, 25, 30 years. Tile, cement, and all that lasts longer, but we have millions of homes that's on the track. Those homes that are basically standard homes that they use cheaper materials, and those last 15 to 20 years for roof, let's say, before it starts leaking. So roofing, again, all that means you're going to have a job for life, right? Automobile mechanics, people aren't buying new cars, they're holding on to the older cars. If you knew anything about automobile mechanics, you should learn, because again, you'll always have a job, but these are jobs. These aren't something you can sit around tapping your keys. These are real hard jobs. You got to go show up, but you're going to get paid. So see, there's always a way. You can be outside of the stock market, but you're going to need a job that people have to see you. And no AI can replace you. You have to show up. No AI is coming up to do anything that I just said. It can actually, you can use AI and whatever computers to diagnose and put in some sonar and do all that, but somebody's got to go there and do it for now. For now. All right. So I'm just giving you guys ideas. You have time that you can go get your license, go learn the trade, and then get paid for life. Just saying. I'm not one of those guys. I don't have any skill sets for any of that where I can actually charge people to do it. Even though I have skill sets, but I don't have a license and all that. So just saying. But the good news is you can be any age and you don't have to waste 4 years or 7 years or 9 years before you can actually start making the money to do it. You can do this stuff within a year that I just mentioned. This is Stop Struggling Now, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I got to mention it like it is. Those will never go away. Computer techs never go away. But then again, there's going to be reduced because now people can actually AI look online with Google and see and do their own spot checking. Before, people would say, "Hey, Eric, you know how to check this out for me? Bring it over." And I wasn't a person that worked in computers, but I would say, "Bring it over, man. I'll get it hooked up. Make sure everything's fine. We'll get it. Hey, you need some new RAM, or we'll update this. We'll just update it. Do this. Hey, you need a new motherboard. All right, simple stuff, right?" But now, you know, things are lasting longer because they've slowed down the process with computers. There's no arms race and cheap arms race. Now they just slowed it down. Like I told you guys before, my computer that I'm using right now is old. But the software that I have is the same software they have now, except one little problem. My software is slower than the software now, but I have the same stats. So when somebody says 2 terabytes of memory, hard drive, when somebody goes, oh, 12 cores, which is what I have. When somebody says, I got, what else do you count on these things? Oh, RAM, 16 gigabytes. Go find a computer with those same things, and they're now charging people stupid money for the same damn thing. Except, obviously, it's newer. It's going to be on Windows 11, things of this nature. And so, but they're charging an arm and a leg for stuff that should be a few $100. And they're getting away with it because they slowed the arm race after the 2000 uh, tech meltdown in the computers market, right? Software. So they slowed it down on purpose. No arms race. By now, we should have already been well past where we are. So what they're doing is they're making sure that people buy it, and then they're making sure that people have to upgrade. Just like right now, if you have Windows 10, you need a computer that's doing Windows 11. If you don't have the computer that can update because you need the software, then it's not going to upgrade to Windows 11. They're going, we're not going to do anything with Windows 10 after about sometime in 2026. So that's their plan to make sure people keep buying their product. They said, we'll just slow stuff down so we make them have to buy from us. And then we're going to stop the updates after 3 years. So we know we keep the customer. And then some people right now are handy. They go, you know what? I'll just go down and build my own. It'll be custom for me. And I'll put it together. Let me go down and buy my motherboard. Let me go down and buy my RAM. So then they said, oh, I see what they're doing. We're going to charge 5 times as much for RAM than we used to. I was like, that's all they do. You see how they do it in an empire that's going down. They figure out, hey, we got to stop the flow. We can't have competition. We can't be in a serious place where we have competition for businesses. That's what they did. This is why America is America now. Because they're not trying to compete on the world stage. And that's why China and some other countries are sitting there kicking our ass technologically, while we're still sitting here like it's 1995 and 2005. It's a damn shame to watch, in my opinion. So all they have is the AI now, and they're actually funneling money up to NVIDIA and into AMD and to some other companies, and they're piggybacking each other. And then they're buying from NVIDIA. NVIDIA is selling them lower level chips, lower level systems, NVIDIA is selling their top tier systems to whatever other corporations out there, but they're spending hundreds of billions of dollars all together and creating this little mushroom. Eventually, there's only going to be a few at the top. And ultimately, after AI becomes a thing, people aren't going to need to keep going to NVIDIA. And then there's going to be a tear down, in my opinion. We'll see what happens. But that's why I told you guys to get everything ready by 2026, December 31st, 2026. Your credit, 775. Real estate or business outside of the United States, bank account outside of the United States. Those three things will go a long way. Hopefully, you will trust me. I'll still be here to say I told you so. All right. So I'll still be here. All right, let's go. We're going to get into something else shortly. Sonny Johnson, thank you so much, man. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Financial Friday Night Live Stream Info. Most people are still in La La Land. That's correct, because you're always in La La Land. You want to know why? Most people are going to their job because they're safe. They don't have any skills. They went to school to learn. Then they have a job. They get paid every Friday or every other Friday, whatever, monthly, whatever. They have their bills to pay. They make enough. They're happy. The only time somebody's going to change is when they don't make enough. But unfortunately, because their skill set is simply going to their job, doing what they're told, then, or they're the boss telling other people what to do, they don't have a skill set outside the building. And they damn sure don't have the skill set for trading, because trading, you can't be at your job, even though nowadays you could be, because you could have your phone, but then working and trying to look at the phone going, oh man, or getting alerts and being like, oh man, I got to make this trade. But you could be in the middle of something. So that's very, very difficult. So that's why the people who's going to make it are the people with the real skill sets, that's going to be service oriented, that gets paid. Like I said, try and call up somebody that you need AC work or heater service. See what happens. And then when they get there and they're like, yeah, it's going to cost you 100 for me to show or whatever. And then they go, well, it's going to cost you 20. Let me see. The heater went out. I'm trying to think. The blower went out. Dude comes out. He says something like, the blower, and it's a Lennox, by the way. So the blower, he says, what does he say? I think he said like 2,500. You know what? I'll just go look it up, because it's a blower for a Lennox um, blower motor for Lennox. I think it was 2,500 or 3 Gs. I can't even remember. It was something crazy. I was like, have you lost your mind right now? I was like, have you lost your mind right now? I was like, that's not gonna happen, man. And of course, it all depends on who you are, right? So, because I used to do, let me do shopping, because I'm pretty sure it was like 25 or 3 Gs or something like this for this motor, and the motor actually has computer parts on it. And of course, it goes by the model. Now I don't remember the model number, but it was something, and that's how much it was from Linux. It was 2,500 to 3 Gs, and I'm like, how much is the damn? What is this? I was like, is this? I said, hold on, I think I can get a whole new system altogether for 10 Gs, 7 Gs. I'm going to pay like 25 or 3 G. Plus, you had to put it in. So it was like 3 Gs, I think. I think it was something of this nature. And I'm sitting there looking at him like, hey, man, hold up. Hold up. Let me just go online and let me go through some of these Chinese. It's a motherboard. Stop playing. So when he showed it to me, and I said, wait, this has motherboard components and a blower, but the blower is nothing more than like an armature that spins around, as far as I can tell. I was like, wait a minute, man, I ain't paying this. So he says, I asked him, how much you going to charge to put in? He said, for a few $100, I'll put it in. So I said, okay, let me go online. Let me find this. I got to find the model number. Now, the model number of the blower and the board was the problem. The board blew out, short circuited, not the blower itself. But obviously, if the board's out, the blower doesn't work. And that's why I can't find the price, because now that I remember, it wasn't the motor, it's the board. Let me go find out how much the board is. It's the motherboard that went out, actually, not the blower. But it's all one unit anyhow. But anyhow, so the thing is, um, furnace, no, blower, motor, furnace, motherboard. Yeah, I still can't find the price, but it's 2,500. Anyhow, the motherboard. So I was like, okay, man, now that I know this is a motherboard issue, let me go find out where I can get a motherboard for this damn thing. Then, not the blower itself, it's some other 2 units. So now, obviously, if you're going to change the board and the blower's already 20 years old, I found a company. They sent me the whole thing, 300 and some odd dollars. And then he paid him whatever it was, a few $100. But if you don't know what's entails, and he told me, I I went and got everything. Like I said, it was 300 and some bucks for everything. The motherboard and the blower. And he was like I said, total for him to do everything. I think it was like 3 grand. I think it was 2,500, something like that. It was crazy. But because it was Linux. And if it was another level down, then we're talking about, instead of 2,500, 3 grand, it was only going to be like 1,500. Just to give you an idea, because it wasn't a Linux. And Linux has a sister company, which he told me the name. And that mother and the whole systems are the same. And that part is way less. And that's what happened. But again, most people just rock and roll with it because you guys don't understand. Everything that America makes is now they don't make generally in America. The parts and everything come from outside of the USA because it's way cheaper. They charge you crazy money. Once you understand where you live, then you move accordingly. Somebody comes to your house and says, hey, man, especially for computers or parts for appliances, nearly all of that stuff is made outside the US. And that means it's copied. And so when I got my part, I told him, I said, and you know what he says? I mean, he's a friend of the fam and all that. And he says this, he says, well, that part might go out in 5 to 6 years or something. I said, I know you have to say this because you're in the AC and heating. You're used to telling all these people the same thing. I said, let me ask you something. If it's going to cost me 2,500 3Gs and I'm buying this whole setup for 329, this I'm going to be dead. I can just buy 3 of these things right now and still be ahead of the game. I'm still not going to spend 3Gs over the next 3 blowouts. So I was like, who cares? I was like, what are you talking? I was like, this is I said, you can say that to everybody. I know you're going to say it because you're the AC dude, but I don't really care. I'm paying you your whatever you're saying, 600, whatever it was, 500. But it would take me 6 times at today's prices. And let's just say it goes up even more later. I said, I'm good with 4 times because I know this ain't going to blow out in the next year or 2 years from now. I said, it's computerized. The only reason it blew out is 20 years old. It degraded. The circuit's not going to be able to take the same resistance. I said, it's common. I mean, it's common sense to me. But anyhow, most people are still in la la land. Exactly, man. And that's why you got to get out. Oh, Larry Will XO's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. Very happy to see you again. Man, what did it do today? It dunked today. It dunked 2 days ago. You should be in the game, whether you're buying by sitting on the sidelines or not. You got to be in the stock market game. Tay, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. Very happy to see you once again in the house, and everybody else on all the platforms. Apparently, the Facebook has showed up, so I appreciate that. I never play poker. Seems hard. It is hard. Oh, it's even harder now because there's new stuff that came out before. The reason why there was a beautiful situation up until 2003, in order to play poker and learn, you actually had to play. So you can play with dummy hands, but you know what happens when people are playing for fun. They just play anything. So in order to really learn, you actually had to learn. You had to learn the hands, read a book, even computerized. You can go online, learn the hands. Then Where would you go to learn how much to bet, what you should bet, learn about position, learn about the blinds and the antes and all that stuff? You would have to go and play. In the 2000s, computers came to be able to put them up on screen so you could play poker on your computer at home. And information that previously was not available other than if you were learning in person, you can read, and players would tell you how they play, and then you could start understanding odds. They would start talking about the odds, 10 to 1, let's say. Okay, I'll do it this way. So what can I do? I can do ace, a straight, ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Let's go that straight. So, if you're holding, let's say 4, 5, and now you have ace twos on the board. You need a three, but see, there's only four threes. So you just times it by two. Really, you times it by 2.2. So you have four threes in the deck. Four times 2.2, you roughly have a 9% chance. Okay. Of that card coming. 9%. Okay. So back then you had to calculate this in your head. And if you played live, you would have to learn this, right? But on computers, you can read and they're telling you, oh, it's 2.2% per out, so to speak. So now I know I got four outs, and now I know it's going to be a 9% chance, right? That's 1 in 10 chance that it's going to come in the next two cards after the flop. So now here's what comes up. Let's just say we have $100 in the pot. 9% means I can only bet $9 to go with that, right? It's very simple. But back then, playing live, you had to have all this in your head. On the computer, it moves faster and you could figure everything out at this point, right? So you're like, okay, I can only bet $9. So now somebody bets $50. That means you should fold because that's over your 9%. That's 50% of the pot. So you can't bet. You got to fold. That's how they used to play. Now they now know, which I don't play now with how they do, but now they go, we don't care what cards we hold. The new kids, they go, oh, they know, for instance, 7-5 suited, no matter what, has a 35% chance of winning. That's how they're playing now. So now, before that would be a fold in the old days. The new days, people are like, okay, well, the pot is $100. I mean, I'll use the pot. We've already had a flop. Let's say the pot is $100. Flop comes down. They put in 35. Another person put in 35. Another person put in 35. You're next to act, so that's 105. 35% means I should enter this pot because it's only 35 to me. So now you have more people in the pot playing because even 7-5 has a 35% chance of winning. So now you have all this going on, automatics. They're like, oh, yeah, it's 35%. Let me put my 35 in. Let's go. Now the flop comes. Based on what happens after that, the action happens, right? Because we're playing no limit. There's only three cards coming down. So now there's 140,000 or $140 in the pot. So now let's just say, for instance, 7-5 comes, and I'll do the same thing. So 6-3-4 comes. 3-4-5-6-7. 3-4-5-6-7. Okay. So now an 8 or a 2, just remember we got two, right? Four cards of each. 8 times 2.2, 18% chance to win. That means anything over around 35, 40, $45, you can't bet. So if somebody throws in $40, guess what? How I used to play, I'm still going to stay because that's meets my criteria of 20% basically. So, okay. So I fudge a little. $40. Let's see what happens. If the two or three, that whatever the number was, two and eight, whatever it was, whatever, it hits, I win massively, right? And that's how you play. So anyhow, I'll just try to give you guys a short one. All right. Okay. Uh-oh, he live again. Judah Barak, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. Very happy to see you once again. And also, I want to thank everybody for becoming members of the channel. We had new members that joined the channel this week, which I was surprised. That means we're getting out there and stock market trading is cool. So once again, Judah Barak, very nice to see you on this Friday night. Very happy that you're live. All right, kamikazes in the house, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream as well. Thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciated. Farrakhan, a CIA agent, they're saying now he about to die, so the truth is about to come out on him. Dang, that would be bad. That would be so bad. That would be so bad, man. That would be real bad if this is true. I haven't heard this, but that would explain a lot also. You know, it's kind of funny. When you have MLK, when you have Malcolm X, when you have other leaders that were assassinated, and then you have Farrakhan, who speaks out a lot about some of the similar things, but nothing ever happened to him after all these years. Even within the Muslim movement or Islamic, I don't know which one. I'm not even in one of the faiths, but uh, they murdered their own to take power. So it's kind of like, how does this guy who's been able to be around. You know, want to know what's very interesting about Farrakhan? I cannot believe this dude showed up playing the violin. Oh my God. Who knew that this guy has talent like this? I mean, my God. I would not be shocked or surprised if this was true, but I hope it's not. Let's just call it what it is. Kamikaze. I hope it's not true because I, 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 I don't like I don't like any minority helping oppressors. That's that's against the rules, man. That's I'm just like that changes the whole dynamics. I'm like, hold on, man. Wait, you working with them dudes helping oppress? Oh no, man. That just takes you down. Nah, man, nah, man. All right, wiser than most, bro. The majority of them work for the government. Oh man, stop it. Stop. Yeah, you're right. You know why? Because most people have pressure. I first of all, some of you are new here. You don't know my background at all. But yes, I've the government has put markers, state and federal, because I was taking money out of the rich dudes' pockets legally. So there, and I was helping other people do stuff that was all legally, corporations and individuals and things of this nature. And they're just like, wait, he's too young. He's only in his early 20s. They're like, oh, how are we going to do this? So the things that you see today, I used to tell people 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and they were all looking at me like, that's a lie. That doesn't happen. Our government doesn't do this. I'm like, you don't know where you live. But yeah, I'm not surprised by this at all. Again, let's just get things straight. Wiser than most. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Financial Friday Night live stream. Um, there's a reason the government comes and they tell people they just what you see right now is what they would do, but there was no social media, there's no computer really out there for that. You can make a website and talk, but how many people could find it because they can suppress it? So there was no way to tell people, and when you tell them, they would look at you like you're that our government doesn't operate on this. And I'm just like, okay, let me give you examples. And I'd say, hey, um, and I would start off with the basics. I would say, okay, because everybody was, it's the 80s, let's say, and people are into drugs and into clothing and stuff. I'd say, let me ask you this. How many minorities you seen with yachts, submarines, big boats, trucking companies that they can bring in kilos. This is very basic stuff. I'm like, so explain to me how you're gonna have in cities like Chi-Town and Oaktown, which is Oakland, and certain black neighborhoods. Explain to me how they have all these kilos floating around. And you think that the government's just like doesn't know, right? You just think that you can drop 200 kilos in a city by boat and transportation services and it's not tracked. But yet, though, if somebody gets caught with an ounce or two or rock or one, they get 25 or more, 20 years or more. But if they find the guy with 200 kilos on the boat, somehow he's out in 3 or 2. I said, this is obvious, isn't it? Like, they're setting you up. It's obvious. They're setting you up. This is not like rocket science. And then later on, CIA comes or FBI comes out and they have records that show that they actually were trying to hurt minority communities by infiltrating and dropping the drugs in the community and making sure it arrived there. So this explains the whole thing. And people don't believe it, but or now they do, but back then they would like, get out of here, man. Stop talking to us. Dudes, man, you're being played. Yes, sir. All right, Judah Brock. Now they're saying Jim Carrey, a clone to this world, is crazy right now. Yeah, I heard that story. I was like, come on, man. You guys are getting too carried away. I agree with you. Kamikaze 8. Don't trust none of them. First of all, well said. I'm with you because I have a problem. Anytime somebody starts telling me you need to be in the organization, you need to be rocking with us, but at the same time, I know you do dirty work against us. That's the problem I have, right? Like he's done dirty work. The one before him did dirty work. Malcolm also, oh, the not him doing dirty work, but what I mean is they have people behind that does the dirty work. I'm like, you guys are in an organization that does dirty work to each other, so I'm supposed to trust you. I don't really care what you're telling me right now. Why are you guys and there's certain things, just like police, right? It's the same thing, just like police. I told my friends, they go, Eric, why don't you like police? I said, well, one, I'm a minority. Two, they jack people just for the hell of it, just for the fun of it, kill people just for the fun of it, just for the hell of it, plant evidence on you just for the fun of it, just for the hell of it, lie in court just for the fun of it, just for the hell of it. Nothing happens to them. And I said, here's the first, I said, here's the first clue. I said, even if you like the police, I said, here's the first thing that I'm going to ask you. Why do the police only hang out at their bars and restaurants that more police hang out at? I said, that's a problem right there. I said, that tells me right there, they can't even move in public and go hang out. They got to all hang out together because they don't know who they screwed over. That's right there the problem. I said, nah, I can't hang out with them dudes, man. Don't even talk to me about it. No, no, they're not my friends. They'll never be my friends. I'm sorry. You don't know where you live. All right. And that same rules apply when I got to have bodyguards, when I walk around, same rules apply. Some people would say, well, you're famous, you're rich, you're this, you're that, you're other. How many times have you seen rich and famous people walking around without bodyguards? Because they ain't doing nothing to nobody. So that's another one of my things, self-preservations. I'm just like, so you better be good to everybody. Try to be good to everybody. Try to be cool. Try to be nice. The same people you meet on the way up is the same people you meet on the way down. It's that simple. So I don't need to be trying to mess over people to do something because I like walking around on the planet. And I don't like looking over my shoulder, nor do I like having to have my boys with me or anybody with me to protect my ass. So that's pretty simple, right? Basic. So whenever somebody has to have bodyguards with them, I look at you like, okay, okay, okay. I ain't messing with you. I'm messing with you. Hey, I haven't told this story in a long time, right? So people would be friends of mine would call me up and they would say, "Hey, Eric, you might want to invest in something." And I'm like, "All right, man. What what's this?" Yeah, well, we'll tell you about it when we see you. I'm gonna bring some dudes over. I said, "All right." So I see these, let's just call it pricey vehicles arrive and showing up right then and there. I'm like, okay, that's cute, that's nice, but you want me to invest in some of your stuff? You're coming over here with $100,000 cars, $75,000 cars. This is when cars were 20 to 35 grand. So in order to have one of those, they're exotics. There's, whatever, but you're coming to ask me for money. I'm thinking this is not a thing I'm probably going to do 100 times out of 100. There's no way you're driving these $100,000 exotic vehicles and coming over to ask me for an investment into something. Why would I do that? Stuff like that. All right, mission. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Thank you so much for being in the house. Welcome to the Financial Friday Night Live Stream, which is story night. Okay, Zabak the Midget, bound to see the truth if you look for it, though. You're damn right. That's how it works, man. Usually, when you have an instinct about something, sometimes it wasn't. Larry Will XO, MLK wasn't a saint either. No, he was not a saint. But he was out there marching for my ass. Equality. So, once again, now, as far as I know, he wasn't one sitting there saying, I'm trying to kill people. That's the thing, right? He was out there, had a coalition of American citizens, all walks of life, all shades of color, that was saying, yeah, there should be civil rights. There should be equal rights for these minorities, these people that you suppressed for 200 to 300 years, that you didn't want them to vote. You didn't want them to have jobs. You didn't want them to do anything. You should, hey, man, let's go. Let's get this together. And by the way, do it without violence, because that's what they want you to do. So then they can come and do the violence they've been doing for 200 to 300 years against you anyhow. I'm not scared, is what he said. Let's go. He had others with them that said they're not scared either. And they finally, eventually, some of them killed, died, maimed, and they fought for our freedoms. So I got to show love for anybody that fights for our freedom and gave their life to do it. So I can't say about he wasn't a saint, but all I'm going to say is what he did changed everybody that came after him's life. If you're a minority in America, even if you're a woman, because the civil rights and everything that came after with regard that's associated with it helped women, minorities. So I can't be mad at him. He gave his life for doing that, along with others, many, many others. So that's why I can't be mad. He was out there every day. His life was on the line. Kevin Globe, welcome to the SSN Nation Wealthy Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Eric, are you going to short the market? Not overall. I don't do swing trading. So my shorts would be investing when there's a dip, or directly doing stock trading on the sell side. Now, it has occurred in my mind to do swing short, but no, I don't do that currently. I don't swing trade at all. So it would be like today, making the trade to sell at the opportune time, of course. So no, Kevin Globe, I'm not shorting it on the swing or days later or doing anything like that, only because I feel it's too volatile to do that. That's the problem, because it went down whatever 300 today or 400. The problem is on Monday, something could be said today or tomorrow or Sunday, and all of a sudden it goes up 800 points. That's the problem. And I find that very interesting. I haven't tracked people's swing trades, but that's what I see. It's way too volatile that it's just doing this. So why not take the up and the down, and why bother with I'm going to let it ride for the session for the day or overnight? Because all it takes is our president to say there's going to be war in Iran. And that's going to spark either a down or an up, depending on which, way this could go. So it could say somebody defaulted, like Anthropic right now said, I'm not going to give let our Pentagon, our government use our software. So, I mean, there's all kind of stuff that could happen on a swing, in my opinion, or letting things ride. Um, so no, I'd rather do the day itself. They call trend lines. Thank you very much, Judah Barak. The trend lines, ladies and gentlemen. He's right. That's how it's called. Peace, fam. Joshua Tree in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. I had a feeling once again it's some of your handiwork while we have extra people in the house. So everybody smash that like button. And thank you so much, Joshua Tree, like last time, showing some love. Tay, doing the lots of love. Lots of love. Kamikaze. Man, I know I have a subject matter tonight that we talk about. Heck, Eric broke too. Larry Will XO. That's right, man. We all broke out here, man. That's right. That's how you got to think about it. In trading, the game belongs to me. Kevin Globe, very well said, man. Very well said. Very well said. Okay, here we go. Okay, I feel bad for black people. We're about to be behind the curve even more with AI because the previous generations didn't prepare for the 21st century. You're right. First of all, whenever it comes to computers and AI, you have to be in it because it advances so fast. See, there's an arms race for AI right now, but it moves so fast if you're not studying it. Like me, I'm behind. I normally, in the old days, I'd be ahead of it. I'd be able to show you guys how to do this, that, the other, next thing, and actually create your own stuff without even going through those guys. But I'm behind the curve myself. Now, I have to admit it, I'm much older, but in my mind, I just like, man, I don't want to get into this. But now lately, I said, okay, it's on. I'm going to have to learn AI. So I'm behind because I'm finding out. A friend of mine posted up something and he posted up some pics and did this stuff. And I said, hey, man, how'd you do all this within 4 or 5 minutes? You know what he said? AI. I'm just like, oh, I really got to learn this stuff now. Because I mean, this dude was just doing stuff, boom, 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 like in 1 minute each time. And I'm like, how are you making these images? How are you making this video? How are you doing all this stuff? He has an AI clone that looks like him. And so he's telling me, oh, it's just AI. Just tell it what to do. And it doesn't like put a script into that. I was like, oh, no, man. He did this within 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, this is getting out of hand right now. But you're exactly right. Thank you for mentioning that because you have to admit, even myself, I'm behind. A lot of people. And quite frankly, this is what happened with the computer situation from the 1970s to in the 2000s. Is that once again, if we start talking about the minorities or versus others, the minorities were behind because generally you had to go to school, right? It wasn't something like now where you can actually go to YouTube and study or go search and do all this stuff, just talk and it could happen for you. No, you actually had to code. Like, what did they have? Cobalt. They had other stuff. I knew how to code all that stuff. They had cards at one time that you got to print out on a card. I mean, all kind of stuff that you had to learn. You couldn't just show up and just, hey, do this, do that. I want this to look like this, and just can you make it for me? No, that none of that. But the people who's making it and programming it, they're always going to have a job, right? That's the thing. The people that are going to use it are just the users. So then you're going to be at the mercy of, oh, we're going to turn this off. We're going to monetize it. You're going to have to pay $5 a month or $20 a month. So the geeks always win. So thank you, Larry Wilcox XO. Larry Will XO. Thank you so much, man. You gave me a little motivation because I got to do that. I got to get back into some on the computer side. All right. Still talking that good grades, college crap. There you go, man. Hey, you still have to learn whether you go to college or not. If we're gonna talk college crap, which I'm not, but the point is, in this day and age, it's hard to go to college and be in debt when your job is probably not gonna be there. There is no way going in school right now 4 years or 3 years or 5 years from now that you're going to have the job because of AI. You're taking a high risk to have a $50 to $100,000 IOU debt for something that could be minimized. In other words, oh, by the way, speaking of this, Larry, by the way, do you guys, oh man, if I have my numbers right, people that are going to college or thinking about going to college, get this, less whatever degree that you get, the number is something like 40% of college graduates after they graduate are not in the field that they graduated from. I think that's what it is. Let me find out for sure. I think it's like 46% somewhere in there. Let me just put this in. 40% of college grads aren't in the field they earned their degree. Let's go look. We got Google. I can't remember. I have so many numbers, but I can't keep them straight. But let's go look. I put in 40%. I think it's like 46, 40, yeah, somewhere in there. It's thinking, taking a long time. Here it is. 42%, ladies and gentlemen, are underemployed, working in jobs that do not require their degree or are outside their field of study. Some studies have it closer to 50%. Like I said, I used 40, but I think it was 46, the one I saw. That is alarming. That is alarming. And that is actually a trend that I was actually talking about earlier with the fact of jobs that are going to be replaced and jobs that can't, like the carpenters, like the AC and heating guy, he's always going to have a job. The dishwasher repair guy, he's always going to have a job. The roofing guy is always going to have a job. Those things, rehab for homes, always going to have a job. But having a college degree, you're risking a lot. Debt for number one. Number two, the job's even going to be available in your 4 or 5 year span. So let's go further. It says approximately 41 to 52% of recent college graduates start in jobs that do not require a bachelor's degree. There you go. You know why? You're in a declining empire. So Larry Will XO, we're not talking college, man. You can't. You can't right now. You can only talk about learning and getting something that you know you can use now. So if it takes me 6 months to a year to be an AC and heating guy, I would highly suggest something along those lines. If it takes me some apprenticeship or low, I don't know what the wages would be to learn something. I mean, if I got to be a guy that's got to learn more rehab, you better get started. But again, the majority of Americans are not that. Majority of Americans are comfortable with having a job, somebody else paying them. But with that happening in the last 15 to 20 years, now you have a situation where people don't have skill sets. And so now they're taking lesser pay. And the job, the business is happy to pay people less than what they should be. And then they use it against you, right? They say, okay, well, you're going to start at this slot. We're going to pay you $20 an hour. Well, that's not a livable wage. But now people are graduating, can't find a job, but have bills to pay. Student loan comes up, messing up their credit potentially. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, because they tried to erase that under the last administration. But that could come back to haunt you. And now you can't get a job. And now you have pressure where they go, okay, well, you had your 6 months, you had your 3 months, we delayed it for you, you had a year. And they're going, all I can find is $30 an hour. And well, that's the problem. How many $50 an hour jobs are there? How many $75 an hour jobs are there? That's the problem. So we went over this, Larry Will XO. The numbers don't lie. This is why we're in treacherous times. We're in a declining empire. less jobs are available, less livable wage jobs are being wiped off the map every day because businesses, because of competition, have to compete. Where do you compete? The job market. So now you have to, what happens? You have businesses laying off people to free up cash because employees cost the most. So I'll give you an example because let me go check something out. I think it was today on CNBC. Somebody laid people off. Let me see if it shows up real quick. Here we go. WBD employees fear coming wave of job losses as Paramount tops Netflix bid. You're damn right. They're going to lay people off. They're going to make a lean mean because your employees cost the most. Let me see. There was somebody else that did something too. Somebody laid people off and their stock price went up because, again, the cost to hire people and make them a part of your employee force, it costs so much. And that's why UPS, Amazon lay people off, stocks go up. Facebook, Meta lay people off, stock goes up. There's a reason for that. And that trend is going to continue, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So you better figure out something. That's why I started talking about stock market trading. But thank you, Larry Will XO. You got us twisted a little bit. We ain't talking about that, man. We talking about earning for yourself. One way stock market trading can actually help you, right? If you can learn it. So these truly are some interesting times. Joshua Tree, exactly. Again, this is why we try to talk about this here. Totally agree, says Tay. Thank you so much for that. These truly are interesting times. You damn right, man. It's about to be. I told you guys 3 years ago. And that's the funny part. All you guys who are new, I'm glad you're here. But 3 years ago, again, we had a countdown. The countdown started 3 years ago. It ends December 31st, 2026. So I've been telling you the three rules. It was very simple. 775 credit score means you're reducing your debt or higher. Second rule, bank account outside the United States and real estate preferred or business outside the United States. Why? So you can protect yourself in case the United States turns rogue like it's going now. Some people that are minorities or some people that look a certain way, they're getting kidnapped off the street or killed. And then now they swipe your passport, take your passport, toss it, keep it, just like they do in the Middle East. No, I won't get into that right now. That'll be another life. That'll be another life for another day. But now you don't have your passport. Where are you going to go? You're going to be illegal in another country and don't have any ties? Or are you going to make the decision where I have a bank account, I have real estate, I have a business in that other country. So when I show up, I can be there. They'll say, Eric, you can be here 90 days. I say, hey, I got a business here. I got bank accounts here. Money's coming in. You guys give me an extension. What do I got to do? They're like, oh, you're part of us. You're part of this. You're helping. Okay, cool. I'll give you your extension. Or how about your residency? Did you say you had $1,000 a month coming in? Oh, we'll give you your residency for a year because you've already established that you have stuff there. A lot of countries do this. It's nothing out of the ordinary. Some, if you retire, it says 1,500 a month or 2,500 or 2 G's a month. But all I'm trying to say is at least you would have options. Told people this starting 3 years ago, right? You would have options. And now people are sitting there like, oh, I wish I had options. 146 million people in America do not have passports, ladies and gentlemen. But they can turn your passport off anytime. Think about it. All right. So that's why you need to be wherever you are. If you learn something online, such as stock market trading, and you actually have monies and using it, then therefore you can make money no matter where you are on the planet. That's why not everybody lives in America who's an American. They say, hey, it's cheaper to live elsewhere, but I can do this stuff on my computer. So again, I'll go back to poker since that's the theme of the night. When the United States turned off online poker somewhere in 2009, 2010, 11, whenever it was, I can't remember right now. But all of a sudden they told Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and banks, United States citizens cannot send money to poker rooms at offshore locations. So when I used Malta before, Malta was one of the locations you can't send money to. All right. And then you can't upload using debit, credit, or any plastic, no bank wires. You can't send. Costa Rica, out. There and some other countries as well. But America did that. You think you live in the land of the free? No, because they said we don't want our American citizens sending money outside of the US and we can't track it. Because remember, the poker rooms, online poker rooms, are outside of America. So when you're out there playing, winning 5 grand, 10 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand, they can't track it. Now you had all these people making all this money, and guess what else happened? Something people don't realize. I had a net bank card. I think it was net bank. I also had it started with a P. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I had debit cards with Visa, MasterCard logos in the EU. They were able to be used on the online poker rooms. So I would offload my money to them inside of America. I'm hanging out. I just go down just like this banker's card. I just go down, except it had my name on it. So I can either go down and get a cash advance for 3%, or I go to the ATM machine, take the money out. Or I just use it. America goes, nah, we're cutting that off too. So they banned them at a time. And the other one started with a P. I can't remember the name. All those cards they sent to us from outside the US. So now, if you went on the poker rooms, you just put it on, you have them to send it to the card. Like I said, flush. So nobody had to leave. And by the way, not trackable. Hide. It was hidden. So therefore, that was their other problem. They're like, wait, they sent $500. They can see that. But after it goes outside the country, now all of a sudden they're like, is anything coming back? What's up? And of course, they found out that when these guys are winning online tournaments and it's $100,000, 80,000, 5,000, 10,000, it's not coming back. So now it's not going to be reported on the IRS form. Now they get upset. America, ladies and gentlemen, this capitalism BS, it's not. They block you because you're a citizen. And that's what they did. They shut it off. So this is why when I talk, Bankus is outside the United States. CoinX, a broker for trading, is outside the US jurisdiction. The money can be sent to those like CoinX, for instance. Then it gets sent, the crypto sent outside the United States jurisdiction. Not trackable, nor can they go get it because they don't even know where it is. I have arguments with my friends all the time. Only one that insists that he goes, hey man, the crypto guys can track you. I said, yeah, it never was supposed to be anonymous. I said, that's not the issue. He goes, the government, if you use crypto and send it all over the place, they can track it. I said, if that was true, then how come they can't, those scam companies that took people's crypto, then explain how come they can't track the money and then give people back their money then? How is it that these people can hide the crypto then and not get arrested and they can't find them and don't know their identity? I said, explain. I said, no, they can't. I said, the only reason they can track you is because you have a central exchange or you put your information in to whenever you send up and come back. If they don't know when they send it, after you send it, if they don't know where it went from there, they can't track it. And some people go, well, everything has a transaction. I said, but here's the thing. You need to know my wallet address. And if you don't know my wallet address, then you can't track it. So then what happens? Okay, they can track it by wallet addresses. So then what do the bad guys do? They say, okay, I'll put it in the mixer. I'll send it to something, but I'll have other wallet addresses. I'll put it in the mixer and put out a different amount. So now you can't go 5,000 was sent. So let's look at 5,000 transactions to a wallet. No, it's 2,500 and it's 2,000 here and 500 there. Different wallet addresses. I mean, this is crazy. Don't worry, I have hacker tendencies, ladies and gentlemen. All right. That's probably one of my problems back in the day. Comes back to haunt you. Terry O'Veal, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. Thank you so much. Good convo. Thank you. I'm very happy you're here. Once again, thank you for the support. Let's go. Here we go. We got something about the prop firms as we were talking about later. Prop firms are actually better for beginners because you're not losing your own money. The rules help you become more disciplined. That I 100% agree with. I don't see anything wrong with prop firms. I got to admit about that. I think they're pretty cool. I just don't know how. I was looking at the way my friends were trading. They were on prop firms trading. And the only thing is they had this because of that, like they were having a $50,000 one. I wish I could remember. Um, it was called Profit Trader. Is that right? Profit Trader, I think they're using. And it had, I think it was a $2,500 drawdown on the 50 grand. And so I'm sitting there watching and I'm like, that's a small amount because, like, for instance, news comes out, you have the sweep, so you could actually hit the stop loss. And so the stop loss, though, is capped, I mean, like 400, 500, or something like that, because they're trying to stay, at least give themselves multiple chances versus just one time. So it makes sense. But I looked at it like that's kind of hard because the way the volatility moves, it could you have a $50,000 account. It could move 500 to 700 to $1,000. I mean, so it was kind of weird. And then they started saying, "Yeah, I blew the account." I don't really remember. Let's just say it was 47,000. But again, when you let's say you lost the 500, now you have 49.5, and then again, you're still can only go a certain number. And it makes it very tough. But I agree with you. That gives you some discipline. I 100% agree. Gary Wolf says, not all prop firms charge monthly fees. Eric, you sound like a boomer right now, man. Hey, I just said that, Gary Wall. I said they're all different. I said some charge fees, some don't. Like I said, I think what they call it, Profit Trader doesn't charge fees monthly after you do the eval. They're all different. They're not all the same. No, there's no one size fit all. There's so many prop firms. They have so many different rules. It's out of control. Don't worry, man. I got you, Gary Wolf. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. Very happy to see you once again. Larry Will XO, lots of love, Eric. Taking prop firms is funny. Talking prop firms. Yeah, I don't do prop firms. I just seen some of my friends use it. I looked at it. I looked at Apex. They had a deal where it was, what was it, $10, $20? And then they had all these crazy rules. And I was like, geesh. That's like I said, some of them said you had to have 3 winning trades in a week before you can take part of your money out. And then if you did something and it restarts, if you try to withdraw, I was like, dang. So even if you get your profits, you still got to be like, nope, can't withdraw today. That's in one. Like I said, Apex, I think it was Apex. They got crazy rules. Um, RTRTR. Yeah. Yeah. Prop firms is not my specialty. I just seen some of my friends do it and it's crazy. Here we go. Oh, wait, I saw something. Gary, oh, how does this happen? I have two things come up. I want to see because Gary Wall said something, but on the screen is different. I guess we have some new stuff here. Apex is in the OG in the space. Lucid, Tradeify, my FU dedicated futures, Take Profit. That's it. Take Profit Trader. That's the ones my friend's using. I knew it was Profit Trader. I couldn't remember the first. Are the ones in the space changing it and making it better now? Yeah, that's why somebody mentioned Lucid earlier. World above. Yeah. Again, I was looking at Apex and they had some crazy stuff. And then Gary Wool, I'm going to come up to it. He says $100 a day times 5 accounts equals 500 a day times 360. Yes, it's that simple. I like what he says. But are we talking about prop firms or are we talking about actually trading? I like what he says. Because if you do, I think personally, I didn't really want to get into prop firms because I like what he's saying right here. But the 5 accounts means prop firm accounts, right? But that's my whole point that we were talking about prime wealth advisors. I said this is because you had to pay to get those accounts. And then if you're profitable, they get a percentage sometimes, not all the times. And they make you jump through some hoops. But the prop firms, I don't think, is there really one that you can withdraw every day? I don't know. Again, I haven't studied all these. I just, like I said, my friends talk, show me some stuff. I looked around because at Apex, I looked around at Apex. The one I'm talking about is here comes the next. I wonder how this message came up already beforehand. Let me see. How did I do that? That's interesting. Oh, learn something new. EV Mux has something new over here. Exactly, Gary. There we go. Exactly. I agree with both of you on this. I like it. The what he's saying is cool. I agree. I agree. Money management is key. Hey, LinkedIn, welcome to the XSN Nation Friday night live stream. Mr. Eric, why do you own people treat me bad because of my prosthesis? But white folks treat me extra kind and nice. I don't get it. Are we talking? Hold on a second, man. Hold on. Hold on, man. Hold on. What do you mean? Let me see what you mean because I think I know what you mean. Yeah, I thought that's what you meant. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I have no explanation. I mean, I do have an explanation for it psychology wise. Just like how Americans are, if you're in America, or even worse, if you're outside of America, a lot of people do not like to see any signs of weakness, and they go with the bravado because they always feel like just like I got to. Like, this bugs me so much. Just like you have a 5-time draft dodger, right? Now talking about I'm going to blow up, get in the war with other people. See that kind of crap right there? I ain't got no love for that. I'm like, wait, when there was a Vietnam War, you figured out I can get bone spurs, draft deferments, going to school. Dad can pay for the building and get you in the Wharton Business School, U of Penn. Okay, cool. But now after you then dodge the draft 5 times, now all of a sudden you want to act like you're this badass dude has never done no badass nothing, but you're going to start blowing up the world, threatening countries. Go grab a leader out of Venezuela, talk smack. That's why. And then you have videos showing you all buff, big, bad, carrying weapons, doing all this crazy nonsense by followers. And I'm like, what the hell we doing here? But this is why, man. As long as you act big, bad, and tough, you have this thing inside of America, outside of America. A person can act big, bad, and tough and get a following, and then they even put pictures out like the dude's big, bad, and tough when all along he's just been a simple, wimpy punk ass, scared, scared of his own shadow. But anyhow, um, that's my psychological look at it, man. Just to be clear, all right. I got my opinion. That's what it is. And like I said, uh, we can be our own worst enemy at times for sure. The world above. That's coming up next. I see because I see what they're doing now. Okay, they got some new space that comes out on EV Mux. I didn't realize this. Okay, they probably treat you better because they might think of war. There, see, Larry Will XO, he's along that line. Um, yep, yep, exactly. Think about how America treats its veterans, right? Just saying. Look how long it took just for our veterans who went through Agent Orange, Roundup stuff over in Vietnam in the 1960s, early 70s. And the United States government's like, yeah, we caused all kind of havoc for you, but who cares? You got health issues for the last, if you're still alive, the last 50 years. But just now they say, oh, yeah, we'll give you some benefits. We'll help you out. I'm like, are we, this is, think about, think about how somebody could come from another country, fight for the United States, be in the U.S. military, not even from U.S. And the promise is, okay, we'll give you a green card or we'll give you whatever, make you a legal resident. And then after 20 years, 25 years later, president comes in and says, oh, no, man, you're not American. You're revoked. You got to go. That's some effed up stuff right there, too. And by the draft dodger. This is, again, I don't know what America's coming to when you got weak ass stuff like this going on and people are like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. My younger me comes out. All right, they probably treat you better. Yeah, man, this is a mindset. That's the problem. We can be our own worst enemy at times for sure. Exactly. That is exactly the problem right there. 100, Gary. Well, all right. Good evening, Polo 99 US. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Good evening. How are you? I'm doing good, man. We're in at 3 hours, 17 minutes, and it's Friday night. Oh, my. You know, and we have some subject matter that I love. I don't mind going off now. You guys haven't heard me go off on a rant. Some of you are new. You haven't heard me when I really start going off, especially when we have conversations. When people start getting kind of crazy and I got to pull up some receipts. Like I said, I know there's some people that support the 5-time pedo draft dodger, but there's two things. I ain't down with pedos. I ain't down with draft dodgers. It's that simple. All right. My dad was in the military. My dad was in Vietnam, had to deal with all that BS, right? And being a minority. They didn't want to give him his uh, uh, the disability because when you're retired, they give you they'll up your pay if you were in combat zones, and then they give you some sort of disability if you're in there. They didn't want to give him his for last 30, 40 years. This is insanity. In fact, you know what they did to him? He brings his records in, shows that he was over in the theater. They said, oh no, we can't verify all this stuff. He's like, what? What are you talking about? So he's been denied this whole time. They even went so far. My dad goes, okay, because they don't have their records, you know, the old fire thing and all this other BS that the government always uses. He says, okay, here's my picture of my promotion over in Vietnam. Oh, we don't know. We don't know. What do you mean? Here's the general. Here's the. Oh no, sorry, you can't qualify. All because of something that came out. I think it was under Biden, where they or I don't know, maybe it's Trump or Biden, one of them, that they said, okay, we're going to allow some new movement going on. That they just gave it to him last year, 2025. Can you believe this garbage? And he's not the only one. There's tons of people. My uncle just told me a story 2 weeks ago. He was over there. He's because I told him about my dad. I said, hey, yeah, he just got his disability improved up to 100% because of the Vietnam stuff. He says, I was over there, man, and I don't get mine. I was like, are you kidding me right now? So he tells me short stories. He was there. His disability hasn't been increased. All kind of stuff. So you got to realize if they're doing it to them, and then you have John Stewart, who's been advocating for the Agent Orange guys, and that's even more incredible. How can you? That's just reprehensible. People that risk their lives for your government as a proxy, and then knowingly contaminate them, kill them with cancer causing agents, then you act like, nah, man. I'm like, that's reprehensible, man. And again, I can't deal with five draft dodging as a warmonger now. I mean, sending your kids to fight the battles is wild to me. Just wild. Just off the charts. And then you got a lot of guys who they're, again, our government whose kids get a pass, that they're sending your kids to go fight wars that have nothing to do with nothing. Just like this Iran thing. Gonna send in some planes, okay, but the point is it could escalate. And now what? All for what? I mean, crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap this up. I don't want to get into this little political theater, but by being in the political theater, you know what's going to happen. This volatility with the stock market is going to go up and down. Just like Gary Wolf, I believe, was saying. Let me put this up again. Just like what he was saying right here. You don't have to be greedy, ladies and gentlemen. The market goes up and down every day. Just learn a little bit. Even if you did half of what he was saying, $50 a day, 60K a year. If you learn how to trade, you are now on your own. And it's not, again, if you're new here, got here lately. The other part about it, like I always like to say, is you can be in different markets, the Asian market, the EU, European market, United States timeline. You can trade. You can start trading tomorrow. No, wait, it's Friday. Sunday, in the other markets that come ahead in the time zones. Sunday night, in another time zone, other markets, right? So you can make money at your time frame. Even if it was 50 a day at 60K, how many people could use an extra 30K a year? Let's say you're one of those that say, well, I don't want to do 5 days a week. I'll just do 2 days a week or 3 days a week and get my 50. Fine. 25 to 30K a year extra. Either way, you have your skill set and you can learn. And every day you can learn more, even though you might have an 8 hour a day job. Again, all right. Nobody ever said life's going to be easy. And nobody ever said making money is easy either. And nobody ever said you can make money. The point is, governments around the world make sure you have to make money. You have to ensure in yourself that you're going to have to figure out a way to make money. And unfortunately, the lost generation, you guys better figure out something fast. The lost generation is those that's under 40. Because right now, 40 years old is the average for first time home buyers. Oof. A record, by the way, 40 years old. That is a travesty. That means you have a whole generation that is behind the eight ball. No, hardly the livable wage jobs are shrinking. Union jobs pretty much gone. Healthcare, you got to pay for. What kind of country do we live in? You guys better figure out where you live because the cost of living is increasing every week. Anybody got their energy bills? But this right here is the playbook. And this makes it very simple when you see the number at the end. And this makes it very simple that you can actually say, okay, what if I do one day and make just $100? Or 1 week I make $100, $400 a month. Some would say that's not enough. I would say that means you can use that money to invest and make more money. But that's the type of thing that you're going to have to do as money management at this point. Unless somebody's going to show up and get 10 to 20% raises every year, you're going to be behind the eight ball. It's that simple. All right. So just keep that in mind. That's all I'm going to say for the rest of the evening. Other than I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate those that's supporting me lately, some new people, and I appreciate you sharing and letting other people know. And at least I think you might like a little of the message that I've been giving, and hopefully this can help a lot of people. That's why it's called Stop Struggling Now, because I just got tired of all these people charging fees and trying to tell people, hey, sign up in my course. And even though it's still prevalent today, I just find it very interesting that a lot of people who say they make money have courses instead of giving people a way to help themselves. If I already make money, why do I need to get more money from you? That didn't never make sense to me. Again, I have certain things in my head. I'm just like, because I've always done everything my way. I never had to sit there and figure out what I'm going to do, right? So that's why I kind of looked at things kind of weird. That's why I started the channel. In case you're new here, was because about 6 years ago, I'm sitting there watching this thing about people saying, well, I do this, I make all this, I make all that, and I'm going to sell a course. And my policy was like, well, if you're making all the money, why are you selling the course? Why don't you just tell people how to do it? Because rising tide lifts all boats. I don't need 60% of the or actually 80% of the population living paycheck to paycheck. What good is this going to do? Because if you're a business person, you realize then that you're not going to have as many customers. We're not going to have enough customers to go around if you have this amount of people living paycheck to paycheck. So things are going to start failing, like 25 to 30,000 transportation companies went out of business last year. Okay. You're going to have failures in all type of areas. And now you're not going to have customers that can buy your goods and services. So that means you're going to have to raise the price on the ones that can. So either way, this is not going to end well. So that's why I've never been a fan of those saying I make all this money and I'm going to charge you. And this is why I was one of America's most dangerous young guns at the time, because the government was like, I told you guys this before many times, if you might have heard it, is that when I was doing seminars, not seminars as you guys think, I would, in the old days, we would do like, have just what they do now, but at the hotel, and you have a room, and you would market and have people come, right? So how they do things now, right? I wish I had a book for the money game show or whatever it was called, but you know how they do it. They say, well, pay us $99. We're going to have this thing in Vegas. Come to Vegas, and like the money show, Las Vegas Money Show, I think it was called, $199 for 3 days. So they charge people $199, right? Okay. And then you can pay to go to additional like little 20, 30-minute little talks and all this stuff. Okay, that's fine. But the guys that are coming there are well known. They're hedge fund guys, they're AI guys, they're all these guys, and they're speaking for a short period of time, and people are paying to go listen to what they say. Okay, fine. But back to the smaller scale, that you go to a little thing where they used to be like the Tom Vu real estate thing, Pace Morby, right? He does his subject to, and he has these things, right? He makes all this money, but he still charges people $5,000 to be in his little group, right? See, that type of stuff. I'm like, well, if I'm making all this money, why am I charging you? It doesn't make any sense to me. I need you to make money. I need you to make more money. I need everybody to make more money. Not only like I'm going to have you as a customer, but I need you to make more money for our whole system to flow. Because the more people that make less money means there's going to be you and me, ordinary citizens. You're going to have family members, you're going to have friends losing jobs, and it's not going to be able to support the system. And now you start having all these people falling off. And then people go, well, there's all this homeless. Well, guess what? It's going to continue. There's not enough livable wages. Simple. So, so that's why I've always been against, like, I don't sell a course. I can make a course. I can make a few courses, quite frankly. real estate courses. I can't do stock trading. I can do like even poker. I can do a bunch of stuff. I starting businesses, doing all that stuff. We can do a bunch of stuff, but I'm like, I'm not doing courses. All right. So the only thing that can ever happen is you can do donations, which is, happens rarely, which I love, or you can do memberships. That's it. I don't have courses. And you can do none of that. It does not matter. In fact, the reason why I can talk all this garbage, I can say anything, is because I don't really get, I've never been monetized on social media at any platform. Then they turned off my monetization last year. And so again, I was like, so what? It's not like you guys pay me. It's not like you turned on my reviews. So I don't get paid. So everything I've been doing all these years, it's like, I don't do this for clicks. I don't do this for the money thing. So that's the whole point. And I can tell you how to make money, just like if you weren't here before, 5, 6 years ago, we were talking about no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry for buying pre-construction projects in Dominican Republic. When you could buy a studio for 50K, 60K. You can buy a 1 bedroom for 70K. You can buy 2 bedrooms for 90 to 100K. You can buy villas for 80 to 100K. Primavera 2, you could buy a 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, what is it, 1,300 square feet villa inside a gated community with pool, basketball court. They were supposed to have a fitness room and all that, but 80 grand. So you get to win all the way around. Appreciation, that same thing's about 235 now. Okay, great. But at the same time, you can rent for $100 a night. And if you do 50%, that means you get over 10% return. Never mind if you get 70% return because you're going to be renting so cheap because it's a 0.1%, right? So no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. Real estate outside the US meets the criterias, which back then wasn't the criteria, but that gave people who had a credit problem. There was no way to stop you from getting real estate on an island that's in one of the most uh, busiest airport locations in the Caribbean is the Punta Cana Airport. And so it made sense. If you have the most tourists on the island, 60% of the tourists on the island, the Dominican Republic, land at Punta Cana Airport, PUJ. And now they're having pre-constructions, no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. So everybody that purchased between 2019, 2018, and about 2022, you win for appreciation and you can rent at a lower price than anybody else and still make a 10% or more on your money. So it was beautiful until prices start going up, obviously, right? Cost of goods, materials, and everything goes up. So now it's not that cheap. Now the 2 bedroom condo that you could have bought for 99 grand, 110, 105, 80 grand, 117, those are 199 to 249. Big difference. So see, put you in position to win. Some people said, I'm taking that offer. I'm doing that. So ultimately what happens, we have SSN Lifestyle, SRL is my company in the DR. Broker for projects. So now then I get commission, right? So while I'm referring people, I used to do it for free. So I took, and then they said, Eric, you should take 1% at least for referring people to us. And I was like, nah, man, because if you guys don't pay me, it's going to be, I'm going to have a different point of view. I said, so as long as I like the offers and everything you guys are doing over there, I'll just refer people. They were like, no, we insist. We'll give you 1%. Okay, fine. That's after what, 2022 or so, 2023, somewhere in there. I said, all right, 2022 at the end. I said, okay, man, I guess I have been like referring a lot of people over there, and you guys been using my content. So yeah, okay, yeah, I'll take 1% or whatever if I refer somebody. Cool. You know what happened? All of a sudden, now that they owe me money, hemming and hawing. I'm like, oh, hell, now we got a problem. And that's how it all starts with problems, right? So, and then time goes on, 2023 comes. So then, of course, okay, so they send a few checks, but then most of the time, these different developers, well, we can't pay you right now, but here's 500, even though we owe you 3Gs. So, okay, I was still all cool. I didn't really care one way or another. But then I started realizing, I was like, hold on, what are you guys over here doing? So then I formed my company and I said, okay, I'm just going to be official broker, higher percentage, all that. So now we're doing broker stuff. And all of a sudden it starts being, yeah, we owe you like 5Gs, but here's 2Gs. I'm like, okay, Houston, we got a problem. I can't rock with you guys doing this. So are you doing this to the other brokers and realtors as well all this time? Then I start hanging on the island. I'm finding out, yeah, this is a thing. I'm like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. That's why we don't talk about it as much. And that's why I can't tell you guys to do the same thing anymore, because even if I wanted to, you can't, because you can't buy at these prices that they have now. You cannot buy a condo for $249,000 because you cannot get 0.1% for the rental. You're not going to get $250 per night. It's that simple. You can't. You can go to Airbnb, you can go to airroi.com, AIRROI.com. It actually tells you the occupancy rate. So you can go look in on the island, well, anywhere in the world, and they'll grab you. You can just pick it out. So you can go to the map and say, I want to invest here. Let me see what the occupancy rate is in this area. It tells you it comes off of the Airbnb. So you can see the area and everything. So if you're investing in that area, you can go see what, man, they're only charging like $100 per night. That doesn't meet the criteria. Trust me, I've been doing real estate for a long, long time. And the problem is, I'll just give you guys, in case you don't understand the numbers. If I got to do 1.1% means on a 240, I'll round up $250,000. That means I got to rent for $250 a night. That means I get $1,800 per week. I need 50% occupancy, so I need 180 days rented. You go look on Air ROI, you can see how much people are charging, and you can see their occupancy rate. All right, that's the first thing. So once you see that, you see like, well, they're only charging for a 2-bedroom unit. Let's say inside Vistacana, right? 2-bedroom unit. You can go find them right now. Inside Vistacana and Punta Cana, you can look at it and you'll be like, dang, they only have 25% occupancy and they're only charging $150 per night. By the way, 25% occupancy at $150 per night means we're going to be in single digits. I can only guess probably 3 to 5%. If you're going to only care about 3 to 5%, why even waste your time? Because you're at risk every year, every month. When you rent, something could break, something can go wrong that upsets, or a hurricane or rainy weather, whatever. The point is, then you might as well just put your money in the treasury and get 4%. Why even bother and take the risk and waste your time if you don't care? So that makes no sense, right? So now what's going to end up happening, check out the video that I wrote about Dominican Republic. Just Google the channel, because this is too long to explain, because I'm at 3 hours and 39 minutes. But the bottom line is, I think they're going to have a downturn in tourists. So therefore, there's no reason. You might as well just wait now. And somebody mentioned the other day that they invested in, where was it? I think it was in the Asian market. I think it was Thailand and the Philippines, which again, they're on the same thing. They're doing pre-construction, no credit check, no barriers to entry. All right, let's go. Did I get somebody else? Oh, we went back up. Okay. All right. Mo Better's in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. Another investor's here, and he's been over in the DR looking around. He's also an investor and he's also did not make a decision. So he says his tagline, what's SS and fam? What's up, E? We in the building. Thank you so much for your support. Always, Mo. Thank you once again. And Michael Anthony Sr., welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Greatly appreciate you in the house. How much are they looking for that I was thinking you invest into the stock market? I don't have any rules. You should just start investing on what you can afford. That's it. If that's what you're saying, how much are they looking for that I was thinking you invest into the stock? I don't maybe know what you mean, but if you're looking to join teams with somebody, I don't know, but no, just use whatever you are comfortable with and start. That's it. Very simple. Maybe you're asking me some. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Banks and AI stocks are selling off. That which sectors look good to look. Oh, they're going to sell off because there's several reasons, but that's just it. They're the chosen ones. Banks, not so much, but either way, they're still the chosen one. So, in my opinion, I'm sure there's other people, but I would still stay with the tech, the Magnificent Seven tech guys. They're chosen. Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, they're all chosen. Tesla, they're chosen to win. The government gives them government contracts, subsidies to make sure they stay afloat, and they're buying $1 trillion worth of stock buybacks last year and this year to make sure their stock prices go back up. Just so you know. All right, just on the regular. So if they go down, that's why you're supposed to buy at the lower level. Your dollar cost average being lower is better than it being higher. So if you did purchase AI stocks and it drops and your dollar cost average is higher, you should buy a little bit more at the lower price to bring your dollar cost average down. Yeah, the AI stocks aren't done yet. Trust me. They're banking, the industry's banking on this. Just like the computer.com run up and then it busts. The same thing's going to happen with this AI. Somebody's going to win the AI race and then everything's going to drop down. But in the meantime, rock with the AIs. At least, like I said, I'm not going to give you names, but do your own research and you'll see. I mean, I'll say names like, AMD, NVIDIA, you know, I mean, those are the top guys. I mean, you know, and all the big guys, Meta, Google, all the Magnificent Seven, they're going to be saved. They're going to make sure they win. They can refinance. They can do all kind of crazy. They have options. So any dips that are significant and your dollar cost average is above that, you should buy. All right. Hopefully that helps. Banks, I banks itself, okay, whatever. I like JP Morgan, JEPQ, because it gives roughly 10 to 11% depending on the day. And speaking of that, let's go see what happened. That's an ETF, by the way. And let's see what it's 58. So that means it's around 10 to 10.5% because it's six. Well, it might be 11. So yeah, it's $6 and something. So it's $58, right? JEPQ, they give out about $6 and something dividend. So that means it's over 10%. Could be about 10.5, somewhere in there. So that's relatively okay. Again, I talked about this earlier. I like real estate investment trust during this time frame. Whenever there's a trying to get the Federal Reserve funds rate lower, which the real estate investment trust REITs, they get to borrow with the feds, so therefore they can get that 3.5 rate and all that 3.75 if they drop it, and so they'll refinance, and that frees up more money to pay out to their dividend holders, stockholders. So that's pretty cool, in my opinion, but do your own research, man. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I'm going to wrap this up because it's 3 hours and 45 minutes and I got to get a good night's sleep. I got to rejuvenate. Remember, health is wealth, ladies and gentlemen. And I probably should talk about that on another day. And probably I should bring the wife on so she can talk about it. She's a superstar. So maybe I should bring her on to talk about health is wealth. And oh, women, if my wife comes on and I schedule that, you better be on. She has products that help you with your hormones and everything. Just saying. All right. Oh, here we go. He's doing research. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I see what he's saying. Let me see. I started scrolling because I saw some stuff drop down. All right. Tech and bank stocks are selling off hard. That NVIDIA report to beat Wednesday. That selling like tomorrow isn't coming. That all AI is clashing. Yeah. You understand what they're doing. They're funneling everything into AI, and it goes through NVIDIA and it's AMD and all this. That's why they get to win. And then they have associations that bring up the others, right? That's why CoreWeave at one time was skyrocketing. And I agree, it's going to implode eventually because they're spending $1 trillion to earn like a few hundred million. Who would do that? I mean, this is more like a person saying, you know what, I'm going to spend $1 million and have let me give you an example. $1 million and make like 4,500 bucks. You would say that's not a good business plan. I mean, that's what we're doing here. So that's why it's going to get dicey. And the problem is, this is a worldwide arms race. All it takes is that deep seek thing that happened, where somebody comes out and says, "Oh, we got this, and it costs this price." Meanwhile, these companies are building is spending trillions of dollars, and somebody comes out and goes, "Yeah, it only cost us $1 billion to do this." That collapses the AI market instantly. So, once again, what we were talking about, more paying American stock trading, because if you know how to do stock market trading, then it doesn't really matter what happens with Nvidia. If you know how to trade the stocks, it doesn't really matter, does it? You make money on the way down, you make money on the way up. You can have positions. Either way, you don't have to actually hold the stock then. That gives you more flexibility. Or you can do both. Take your pick, but I'm just saying that gives you several options, but you're exactly right. That I would agree with your assessment as well. That's how I looked at it. Look at the crash on Nvidia since earning, which read are you talking about? And can you type in the chat box? Several. ORC, AGNC, ARR, PSEC. We're talking about 12% to 19%. In fact, let me throw this one in. High risk, high rewards, earn, but you got to go study, right? 19% earn, ORC 19% dividends annually. I'll just remind everybody in 2022, I think it was, PSEC was at 17% dividend. Everything bought back then still gets 17%. Just saying. So right now you have ARR and you have ORC. I believe they're at 19. I mean, no, not ORC. ARR is at 19 and earn. Earn is high risk. I don't think it's a real estate investment trust. It's a credit company. So that's high risk, high rewards at 19% dividends annually. So the only things you have to worry about is if they cut their dividends or anything like that. But again, I recommend people who do investments, if you're worried about high risk, high rewards, you always put a stop win on your stock price. What do I mean by stock win? I'm referring to if I do dividends and it's earning, let's say, 14% annually, right? As long as the stock price stays up, I don't want the stock price to drop, right? And because you're going to own more value in stock than you are dividends every month. If the stock price, you hold 100 stocks or 100 shares, the stock price drops $2, right? That means you're negative 200. So if your dividends are, let's say, 10%, and it takes you now in order to recoup or to keep up your value, you're going to have to earn a few months have to go by. to get that back to just the equation of that. So all the dividends you earn just equals the same amount of money because you lost 200, the price went down. So that's why I say don't let the price go down. In my opinion, I just my own things. Yeah, I just keep it. So if I bought it at, well, I'll use an, $20 a share, let's say, and then I say, okay, it goes up to 23, 25, 27. So then I say, okay, let me move, let me have a stop. All right, up high. Let me just take profit. If it goes down to 23 or 22, sell. But the whole time, if it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, great. I'm getting all that, my 12% annually. That's simple. All right. So I don't have to worry about losing money, period. But I'm not going to have it below the $20. It's not going to happen. Just saying. So, all right, here we go. Private credit, cockroach, whoa, sentiment has soured due to instability in private lending. Yes, exactly. So you are studying. Exactly. That's why the Ellington one earn is high risk, high rewards because they're in the credit game. Did you watch him being talking about market sell off and sell off after the close? I don't care about that. Buy more, but not credit stuff. I would buy more of the big boys. How can you stop the price from falling and people are panicked? Don't worry about it. Just learn how to stock trade. So when it does fall, you can win. All right, I got to run, ladies and gentlemen. I got to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being in the house. Come back on Monday at 8:50 p.m. I got to go to the restroom. That's why I got to run. And with all that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And please, no matter what you do, keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out. Okay, go.